TikTok
I'm sick of waiting. When are we going live, man?
Rock.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Sorry, we're so late, everyone, but AP had to restart his computer.
Yeah, sure, it's my fault.
No, he did. But that was like 2 minutes ago. Whereas I had a problem. I was just scrolling through Elon's tweets that I want to have. There were so many of them. There were so many. There were like way more because I'd seen them and I would share them or comment on them as they were as they're popping up and so on. But actually scrolling through to find, I was looking for where it started, like what set this thing off with the battle about the grooming gangs and Tommy Robinson and stuff. So I was scrolling back for that, but it just kept going and going. I was like, whoa, it seems like he's posted, it's at least dozens, if not well over 100 or more tweets about the grooming gangs and the British politicians and police and so on who've been protecting them. So anyway, that's what we were literally sitting here, me just scrolling through Elon's tweets, trying to find the place where it began. I don't know if there are things before this. It's back, looks like January 4th. He started, he tweeted something from about Tommy Robinson, a Visa grad video about Tommy Robinson. And that seems to where things escalate. I don't know if he was posting things before that, but that's where things really seem to shoot up as far as everyone flipping out about it. So anyway, found the beginning there. In this show, we're going to look at this debate. Not really a debate, but Hijab has been trying to debate Elon Musk. And so he's been responding. Elon's not necessarily responding to him. Elon is blasting away with stuff about the grooming gangs, and Hijab is responding, and he's doing so in epic Mohammed Hijab fashion, which we're going to see. Really, really, really trying to get Elon's attention, but even more so trying to use it to get attention for himself. And it is glorious. He goes through all the basic tactics of the Dawa clown. So that's some of the stuff we're going to look at. We're going to look at some of Elon's posts. We're going to look at Hijab's various means of trying to get Elon to shut up about the grooming gangs. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
It's like, hey, look at these grooming gangs. What's going on here? Why are they still not really dealing with this? Why do they, even when they deal with it and lock these guys up, they give them like these little 2-year sentences and 3-year sentences and stuff for brutally grooming and raping and gang raping girls for a period of years. And we're going to give you 2.5 years. You see, we're punishing them, ladies and gentlemen. We're punishing them. And why, when this gets brought up, would the Ummah be so opposed? And AP, you've seen this over and over again where someone goes, look at these grooming gangs. This needs to be stopped. And then it'll instantly be they'll get an instant response from Muslims. Why are you being Islamophobic and attacking Islam?
Islamophobia.
Like, wait a minute. I didn't say one word. People are going, I didn't say one word about Islam. I said grooming gangs. And why aren't people focusing more on this and doing something about it? And you jump to, why are you attacking Islam? Interesting that you guys are the ones who are associating this with Islam. Fun
That's
stuff.
Islamophobic, man. Why would you talk about grooming gangs? That's just Islamophobic, man.
Why would you do this? And of course, so Hijab has been tweeting a bunch. He's been tweeting a bunch of responses to Tommy. I mean, to Tommy too. To Tommy's account. But also to Elon, who's been sharing tweets from Tommy and so on. But then he posted a video in epic Hijab fashion where he tries to insult everything that may be important to you, looking around for what your weakness is. That's what guys, that's what psychopaths and narcissists and manipulators in general, anyone who has a personality problem where they have to rely on manipulation as a tactic, they'll try everything. They're looking for it. What if I attack your dad? What if I go after your daughter? What if I attack this? What if I attack that? What if I attack your company? What if I attack your ego? What works, right? And they're looking for what sticks. And then the moment if they see a reaction, oh my goodness, why did you bring this up? Then all of a sudden, now we know, and then they will pile on that issue.
That's what they do.
So AP, have you heard about these? Wait a minute.
I actually saw a tweet by Mohammed Hijab that was going like, after deflecting for quite a few days, and talking about what about the other rape? What about this? What about that? How about we have more babies and we will get higher numbers?
We're
And
going to
then
be
at
looking
some
at
point
all that, AP.
he
I got all
tweeted
that.
at some point and said, well, if they are talking about grooming gangs so much, then we will make sure as Muslims to do something really, really bad to the grooming gangs, so that they can then praise us and see that we are also against them. And so on. It's just he's really trying hard, man. Really coping very, very hard.
It's really bad. But the entire time he's insulting Elon. Elon is getting clearly desperate. And so, like, dude, you're the one flipping out. Look at this.
Elon Musk, how about you get on your knees?
Superlapsarian says Tommy's a filthy criminal. Nice try, Superlapsarian. But cancel culture is dead.
Yeah.
Hey, that's my new thing. Have you seen like the conservative channels like Candace and that Benny Johnson? Now when you criticize anything they say in any way, they go, oh, no, why are you trying? I thought conservatives are against cancel culture and you're trying to cancel. Literally no one's trying to cancel you. We're responding. But now anytime there's any criticism of anything they do or anything they say, they jump to, are you trying to cancel me? Why are we waging cancel culture? So anyway, I thought about that, but I just decided to roll with it. Now, if anyone says anything about anyone, I just go, nice try, but cancel culture's dead. Boom.
The sicker aspect to me is that these people have a tendency to use Christian sentiments now, and this is how you have seen how you see how grifters, how certain people who only care about the attention and themselves and the money and all of that snuck into conservative spheres and religiously influenced spheres and all that, and they are just everywhere, just like in other circles. You have these people sneaking into conservative circles and religious circles as well. The same guy, Benny Johnson, he did exactly what we talked about, what Candace Owens did when she started making a complete idiot of herself and did some really, really stupid and some really messed up things. She started trying to gain the attention of Christians by tweeting, gospel verses or saying Christ is king.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it's pathetic.
This guy, Benny Johnson, did the exact same thing the day after he hosted Andrew Tate. And
everyone, the greatest hero in the world and the possible only savior of humanity and the future Prime Minister of Great Britain is this guy. Hey, did you know he's a sex trafficker and a rapist? What about the Bible? What about the Bible? Stop judging. Stop judging.
He who is without sin cast the first stone. Christ is king. Wow. Wow, man. How pathetic.
It's absolutely pathetic. It's really, 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 really bad. But guys, everyone, could there be a more awesome start to a year than 2025? It's been awesome already, man. Awesome stuff. Awesome start to what looks like it's going to be an awesome year.
That's what they do.
Anyway, let's go ahead and check out some of Elon's tweets, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to check out some of Elon's tweets. Now, as far as I can tell, let's see here. Thoughts on this video. So he shared this Visagrad 24 video. Everyone be sure you're following Visagrad. He shared this Visagrad video, and a lot of people started jumping in, and that generated a lot of engagement and so on. People blasting him, Tommy's evil, whoa, how could you do this? And other people, free Tommy, free Tommy. And so he shared that, and then again, I had no idea how much he was. I knew he was posting a lot and sharing a lot, but it's a ton. What is this? Full public inquiry here. What is this? The only way to expose those who turn a blind eye to the grooming gangs is by holding a full public inquiry or inquiry, depending on which preferred pronunciation you go with. So he's sharing this. And then here's something he does as well, which I didn't notice because I noticed when he posted something, but he shares tons of other people's posts and just says, wow, or good idea or something like that. Right? Wow, good idea, good point, shocking, something like that. And if I were the Dawa clowns who are trying to silence this, this is the most terrifying thing that Elon is doing right now. He is able to instantly get anyone else in any post a bunch of new views, a bunch of new interactions, a bunch of new followers, and so on. And he's doing it with everyone who's exposing the grooming gangs, especially the people who are in the UK. People are complaining in the UK, and especially some of the previous victims or people who are affected. But you can see, like keep in mind, I just went back to January 5th, and now we're just scrolling up, and he keeps bringing it up. So here he says, absolutely. In response to no national inquiry into the rape gang scandal, Labor confirms this will not go away. We will not let this go away. And so for a while, it's mainly him sort of amplifying the voice of people. Here, Mario, BBC called child victims liars while rapists went free. Shame on these little girls for lying about these innocent, wonderful Pakistanis and so on. And then he responds, talking about the BBC here, you don't hate the media enough, especially state propaganda arms like the BBC. It's the same BBC that sheltered and paged Jimmy Savile, one of the most horrific pedophiles in British history for decades. He's posting lots of graphs and so on that people share. What is this? And, oh yeah, that's the other thing that I didn't really notice much. But scrolling through them, I saw it more than I was aware of. But he's also posting lots of statistics from other countries. So Denmark and other European countries and so on. And so he says, are these numbers accurate? Community notes. And what is it? Visegrad violent crime conviction rates for a number of nationalities in Denmark. And you look there, and at the top, it's Kuwait, and then Tunisia, and Lebanon, Somalia, Jordan. What all those countries have in common? What do they have something in common there?
This seems quite minoritophobic.
It does. And then when Farage, this is interesting, Farage is distancing himself from Tommy Robinson, and so Elon Musk, the Reform Party, needs a new leader. This dude is the sort of guy, if anyone does, this is a guy who can actually sway elections, and leaders in other countries are going to be finding out what kind of sway he holds real quick, like if they haven't already. The Labour Party opposes a national inquiry on the mass rape of little girls in Britain for one reason only: it will show that they were complicit. Ouch. "91.67% of the people imprisoned for rape in the Spanish region of Catalonia are foreign citizens, despite making up 17% of the region's total population." Like I said, Elon will just share something and then say, wow, but get a lot of new attention for that post. Britain sent a father to 2 years prison for the crime of selling stickers opposing open borders online. Britain knowingly ignored grooming gangs raping 12-year-old girls because they were afraid of community tensions if it became publicly known. This is all Elon. Hey, look at that. Even shared J.K. Rowling. Rape is an abuse, not a strategy. Who's she responding to? Unfortunately, rape is a sexual strategy, and ergo, it is a biological problem that cannot be solved politically. You're right in the sense of, as long as you're going to have guys who think they can get away with it or something like that, you will have this problem. That's different from the kind of grooming gangs issue, where you have an ideology that seems to be suggesting that it's okay. So what does J.K. Rowling say? Rape is an abuse, not a strategy. And if it is a biological problem, so is murder, right? So should you not try to stop murder because it's a biological problem and it's just something that human beings do? We have the political option to structure our society to make it as difficult as possible for predators to access victims, and can and should ensure that the legal penalty for rape is severe. What? Not 2 years for a decade of raping and gang raping 12 and 13-year-old girls? That's weird. All right, then he starts posting on some various things. Here he's talking about, he's calling out the hypocrisy of the BBC, who protected their guy for, raping over 400 children while being paid millions by the BBC. They were paying this guy as he was abusing children. True, the irony of this multiculturalism mess. That's the other thing Elon opposed. True. True what? The irony of this multiculturalism mass migration push in Europe is that it will actually produce less diversity, not more. Yeah, if you're bringing in an ideology that demands complete uniformity and you inject that into the system and you let it flourish, it's kind of a matter of time. All right, and then he starts boosting the voices of, this is Samantha Smith here. She was one of the victims of the grooming gangs for almost a decade, from the time she was 5 until she was 14. And so she's sharing this. He says, the more you investigate, the worse it gets beyond what you think is possible.
Oh wow! We're speaking. I'm not sure if you saw this. Elon Musk just responded 2 hours ago to David Atherton, who is very, very anti-Islam.
Mm-hmm.
He says, this is the Muslim culture in Britain. I have multiple sources for these attitudes. Muslim friend of Muslim was explaining to me that basically white girls are seen as just something to F, like prostitutes and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a whole thing of explaining the Muslim hatred for others. Elon Musk replied to it, said horrific. So this is just directly about just reporting Muslim sentiments toward others in the UK.
Now think about what you just said. Horrific, right? Horrific.
Yeah.
Here he says troubling. What is he doing? Every person who tweets some information about this, it takes him all of 2 seconds to boost that content seriously, like massively. And he keeps doing it. This is why this is relevant, and this is why the Mohammed Hijabs and Ali Dawas of the world are freaking out and losing their minds right now. He's boosting and amplifying the voices of people who are blasting away at Islam over the grooming gangs and blasting away at Islam's primary defense, which is all the people who try to silence you if you bring this stuff up. Like the politicians and the journalists, what's he doing? He's blasting away. He's blasting away at the BBC. He's blasting away at the politicians. He's going to get those politicians out of office. Might be soon, might take a while, but it's going to happen. I have to say it. Elon is a tactical genius. He's like, this is amazing stuff. It's easy to miss the extent of what he's doing. He just drew global, worldwide attention to what's going on with Tommy, what's going on with the politicians, with journalists, and so on. And it's blowing up. The issue is blowing up. Just 8 or 10 years ago, journalists would reluctantly report on something and then get real quiet about it real quick. Politicians would say, "Oh, yeah, there's a problem. Here's a report," and then they move on. It never really got nearly the attention it deserved. All of a sudden, Elon comes along and can instantly shine a massive global spotlight on this. So what is this? He says, troubling. According to a review of German crime data, Pakistani nationals in that country, so this is Germany. That's what I said. He's posting stuff by various countries. According to the review of German crime data, Pakistani nationals in that country are 4 times more likely to be implicated in sexual offenses against children than German citizens. As is often the case in Europe, Afghans and Algerians are worst. So this is top 10 suspect rates for sexual offenses on children in Germany. Police data 2017 to 2021. And so the number there, when you see times 6,8, that means 6.8 times more likely than an average German citizen. But look at these. Look at the countries that are all significantly higher. So Afghanistan, the worst. An Afghan migrant is 6.8 times as likely as an ordinary German citizen to what is this? Suspect rates for sexual offenses
on children.
Look at the countries: Afghanistan, Algeria, Guinea, Pakistan, Gambia, Iraq, Lebanon, Somalia, Syria, Tunisia. What do all these countries have in common, ladies and gentlemen?
We can't talk about that. It's racist and bigoted and Islamophobic.
They're in completely different parts of the world. Some in Africa, all the way out to Afghanistan. Very different parts of the world. Very different parts of the world. The Middle East, Asia, Africa, very different countries. What do they all have in common? Massively higher crime rates when it comes to molesting children. Huh.
And what do all of them have in common? They are mostly Muslim.
Yeah, those are all Muslim majority countries, ladies and gentlemen.
Powerful, powerful.
Oh, look at that. Once again, free Tommy Robinson now. This is him telling the government of Great Britain what they need to do. Once again, free Tommy Robinson now. And he's sharing a tweet from Ben Habib. Had you been anyone else, Reform Party would by now have disavowed you as that lot term coined to define supporters of Tommy Robinson. So Ben Hadid actually does lots of cool stuff, posts lots of cool stuff. Tory leader inquiry will expose politicians who covered up child rape gang abuse. Why would you not want to expose politicians who covered up child rape gangs? Why? Like, what sort of person? Like, you could actually decide whether anyone has any business whatsoever in politics just by seeing how they react to something like that. Oh, look at this. Imagine you are a father going to rescue your daughter from gang rape and possibly murder, but the police arrest you instead. He's actually commenting on a video there. Let's go ahead and watch the video. You seen this video, AP?
No.
This happened multiple times. In fact, just when I was doing a blog back in the day, I posted that because I read the story about, and this was a different guy, about a guy who went to rescue his daughter from a house where she was being held, and the police locked him up. He's like, my daughter is in there with all those guys who are doing all kinds of things to her. The police arrested him for racism and bigotry and trying to get on someone's property and so on.
But why is he trying to get in there? He should just wait and let it all happen and then go in.
That would be the tolerant thing. That would be the celebration of diversity, celebrating these other cultures. But here's another example, and this is one that
I got
Elon
a phone
shared.
call to say where Elizabeth was. So I come across, because I lived on next estate, I come across, banged on the door. I saw a movement in curtain. Then within probably 5 minutes, a police car arrived. They asked me what I was doing. I told them. They arrested me and took me back to where I lived, and then they arrested me. So obviously I'm sat in house again, and I would getting more and more frustrated. So I come back over to the flat.
1 hour later or something, was it?
It was about 20 minutes.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So it seemed within minutes, a van pulled up this time, and I think there were 2 or 3 officers. They arrested me, took me down to the police station. Took me in police station. They didn't take me to where they usually charge people.
Guys, catch that? So at first he calls the police to try and help him get his daughter back. They arrest him, just take him home. They just take him home, say, hey, mind your own business. If all these Pakistani Muslim guys are gang raping your daughter, you need to stay out of it. Who are you? Who are you? What makes you think you're so important that you get to stop these guys from gang raping and drugging and pimping your daughter? So anyway, they took him home, dropped him off, let him go. Then he goes back 20 minutes later, and then they show up in a van and arrest him, take him to the police station.
And that took me straight through into a room near cells. So I'm in there. About half an hour later, they come and got me. Come on, you're going. I went, what do you mean? Just follow me, they said. So I followed them, and they took me through officers and out from where police station is, where public going. And they warned me if I come back to the flat, I'd be arrested for stalking. Because stalking laws had just come in then. You know,
you're stalking your daughter, trying to get her back away from these guys who are raping and pimping her.
Serious ones. So they let me go.
But what happens if you say, like, my daughter's in there, I want my daughter out? What do they say to you? She isn't in there, or she wants to stay in there, or what do they say to you?
The way it was what they were saying to me, it was what they were threatening me with. You know what I mean? They wouldn't answer me questions. Why wouldn't they get her out? Why wouldn't they let me get her out then if they don't want to do it?
Yeah, I mean, think about this. If think about it. There are two things. One, if police find out that a young girl is being used by a bunch of Pakistani Muslims, they should be the ones who go in there to stop it. If for some reason they said, you know what, we're not going to get involved, at the very least, it should be open to a father to go do something to protect his daughter. No. They won't even let that happen. So what they're saying is there is absolutely no hope and no rescue for your daughter. As long as these guys have your daughter, there is absolutely nothing you could do to stop them. And if you try, we'll lock you up. We'll lock you up for trying to rescue your daughter.
And I just kept coming back all the time. Look, you're targeting people because of the race. I said, I'm not at all. It's because of what they're doing. These are grown men.
You're targeting these men because of I'm targeting these men because they're gang raping my daughter. That's why. Put up your race. You're racist. You're racist for trying to get your daughter back. This is what's going on. This is what's going on in the UK. And when people draw attention to, so anyway, imagine looking at this like from the perspective of an outsider. It's like, are you guys like insane? Like demonically insane? Are your leaders all like demonic, under demonic possession or something like that they're acting like this? We need to draw attention to that. And when you do it, what happens? British politicians, British journalists, and of course, British Muslims. Hey, shut up. Mind your own business. Let this keep on going. How dare you? How dare you even respond to this? Mind your own business. Don't interfere. It's election interference. Because Elon keeps saying, hey, you need to get rid of these politicians who are doing this stuff. It's election interference.
This is the thing. There are lots of things that I can disagree with, that I disagree on with Elon Musk, and that he does. I don't know. Maybe the future will not be so fantastic. Maybe, I don't know, he will do certain things that we totally don't agree with. I don't care. At this current present time, Elon Musk did something that so many people prevented from happening, and that so many people just will not do because they are bending over backwards to please those who are angry at them or who would be offended. Elon Musk came into this and forced everyone. He literally forced everyone, by talking about this stuff repeatedly and by highlighting it, to talk about grooming gangs, to talk about rapists, to talk about the crime rates among certain populations in the UK and Europe. He literally he forced people to talk about these things that we are that are being suppressed by scared and fragile and stupid people in power, by influential people who want to prevent being offensive, who want to stop being offensive, who want to tell us, no, we don't talk about this. This is Islamophobic. Yes, the statistics are very, 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 very bad if you look at them, which is why we shouldn't look at the statistics. We shouldn't look at who the perpetrators are. He came here and he forced everyone to stop that and to talk about this. For this, I am so freaking thankful to Elon Musk.
Legend status. The reason is, guys, there were lots of people over the years who tried to get attention to this. Tommy was the main one. Tommy did a better job than everyone else did of drawing attention to this. I tried many other, and we all succeeded to an extent. We all got people to understand. But as far as making this real, putting the spotlight on it, like from around the world, everyone talking about this, Elon just instantly out of nowhere shined a huge spotlight on this. And yes, that's legend status right there. And even if he turns us all into cyborgs,
yes, I don't care.
All will be forgiven because he did this.
I'm ready. Do it right now. There was also another instance, I don't know if you know the case. I forgot her name. Samantha
Smith.
No, not her. Another one, another Samantha, who was also in Britain and who was also a victim of grooming gangs or rape gangs. In her case, as far as I remember, would like to look that up in a little bit, but so she reported the perpetrators to the police, who then apparently a rogue police officer, with approval from some others, actively actually prevented the prosecution from happening, actively prevented the perpetrator from being pursued and all that, until she had to fight against it. They had to fight against it and reveal this to bring the perpetrators to justice. So many things have happened. She's known for that case. So many things have happened in the UK where these crimes are covered up. Perpetrators are protected from being prosecuted because of different reasons, like, oh, what if this turns out to be racism? What if there is racism at play here, and so on? It's just, it's really messed up what's happening.
It's
and what has
extremely
happened
messed up.
over decades in the UK.
It's extremely messed up, and we're going to be seeing some more of that, and we're going to be seeing a couple more video clips and stuff of things that are going on. Let's take these. Let's take some super chats, and then we will take a look where Elon's sharing some more interesting details. It's even rough to kind of read these things to people. So here in a few seconds, if you're watching with your kids, you might want to tell them to go play with some toys or something. Arctic Bay said, from the ice to the sea, Greenland will be free. Yes, Greenland, we are coming to liberate you from your Danish tyrants. Wasn't enough that Knowles, we still need to check this out. Wasn't enough that Knowles reacted to the grooming gangs, but I saw he reacted to Sheikh Ibn Fibn Uthman himself.
What?
We got to check that out, man. We got to check that out. I told you I have a list of things. How's your gout doing?
Kind of better. I'm suppressing it with some anti-inflammatory stuff.
I think we need to go live for like a week to catch up on all these topics and to go through all these interesting clips and stuff by like Knowles and so on, because there are issues where we would know more as far as what's in the Muslim sources, and we can shed light on add some additional input on some things. We might just need to crush it.
Powerful.
Let's see here. The tater tot is a eunuch, and Mo Hijab is, well, brain damaged. It's very Islamophobic. What are you talking about? Wait, you said the tater tot is a eunuch. No, Andrew is the tater. His fans are the tater tots. Be clear in your terminology, apostate of Allah. I think I coined tater tots, and then it caught on quick. Thank you, Elon. It took the richest man in the world to break through and expose the corruption in British politics. We need you, Elon. Free Tommy Robinson. Good work, David and AP.
Powerful.
I agree. And that's, man, if Elon keeps the heat on until they are forced to release Tommy, that'd be super dope. Elon is great at math and science, but I've heard that he's also incredibly artistic. Well, we know how much AP likes artists, especially painters.
Yeah. You mean autistic, but yeah.
I am new here. Without lies, Islam dies. That's true. Why do people look to the government when they should be looking to God for their answers? Well, according to the Bible, God has instituted governments to protect people and so on from and to punish wrongdoers and so on. So the government's not doing their job. Are Afghans and Algerians just worse alphabetically? Why Afghans and Algerians? They're going alphabetical here for problems. Candace needs to see pop rise in Gaza for the last year. Oh, the population rise? It has.
Okay. So yeah, what I was talking about earlier, Sammy Woodhouse. Sammy Woodhouse is an activist now. I follow her. I recently started following her on Twitter, speaking out against or advocating for more attention and pressure on child sexual abuse and grooming gangs and all that, and also advocating for the victims who are used, because she was groomed at the age of 14 by a 24-year-old guy named Arshid Hussein, which is probably some British guy, and
it's a common British name like Henry.
Yeah, Arshid Hussein is probably some some British white guy, some probably ginger, I don't know. And the guy was married and had 2 children. He started raping Woodhouse a month after they met, and subsequently raped, assaulted, and beat Woodhouse on a daily basis. He would threaten her with a gun and threaten to kill her family. When she was 15, she was with him, and he forced her to rob a post office. Gosh. The police raided his house and found her in bed with him, forced. Despite warnings and despite her attempts to ask for help, the police didn't do anything and instead charged him with different things. He made her commit all kinds of different crimes while continuously telling her that if she doesn't comply, he will kill her entire family, and so on. Made her pregnant twice, and so on. When she eventually decided to ignore all of the threats and go to the police ignored it and tried to actively suppress it. And later on, after a while, it was then escalated and revealed.
What?
And corruption was revealed and all that, and now he has been sentenced.
One sec, because while you're saying that, look at this. Do these girls never go to the police? Dairo, what planet have you been living on? That's the issue. They go to the police, and the police say the police turn them away, or sometimes very frequently help the rapist. You just heard a guy went to police. He's calling the police. Hey, these guys have my daughter in there. Police, shame on you. We'll arrest you. That's the issue, Dairo. What AP is just talking about right there. You can go to the police. The police are on the side of the rapist. The journalists are on the side of the rapist. The politicians, the social workers, the prosecutors, the judges, they all bend over backwards to help the rapists. That's the issue. That's the issue that we've been trying to get attention to for years. And Elon just dialed it up like 1,000 times, like 1,000-fold.
Yep.
This is messed up stuff.
It's really messed up. So they become victims of grooming gangs. They get raped. You say, "Oh, why is it so hard to just go to the police?" Well, first off, when you're 14 years old, 13, 12, 15, whatever, especially if you're younger, and especially if you have a personality that tends to be a little bit more, anxious and submissive and whatever it is, you are a little bit. You are not quite as eager to simply fight against this kind of stuff. You are more likely to keep it to yourself. You're more likely to be blackmailed, to be manipulated by lies or threats and so on, which is a common issue with people who are being abused, who are being mistreated, who are being raped and so on. This is specifically why these gangs go for younger people, because they know that it's much easier to manipulate younger people whose brain functions are not entirely and fully developed, instead of going for a 25-year-old or 20-year-old that has more of an understanding of life and freedom and so on. They go for the younger ones to control them, to manipulate them, to brainwash them, and to specifically groom them. This is why it's called grooming. Lots of people come out and say, don't call it grooming gangs, call it rape gangs. No. There is something very specific about this. It is grooming because they specifically go for younger ones and raise them through manipulation and threats and all kinds of other things to slowly psychologically damage them and become their slaves. For lots of the victims, many of the victims are actually later on revealed to have had multiple chances to just run away, but they didn't run away. To ask for help, but they didn't ask for help because they were at that point already manipulated and brainwashed and changed and damaged. And at that point, when they later on had the ability to run away or to ask for help, they didn't want to do it anymore because they thought, all of these things that I've been told, all of these things that my rapist told me, what if these things actually happen if I go and ask for help? What if I go and ask for help, but then instead of helping me, they throw me into the hands of this guy and he tortures me and kills my whole family? Mm-hmm. What if? And so on. And then you have authorities actually protecting them. There is so much here. It's easy for you to sit here and say, why didn't they just go and ask for help?
Yeah. And what's amazing is right after we explain it, like we just showed a video of a guy saying what happened when he called the cops on guys who were raping his daughter. They arrested him. You're going, how are they helping? How are they helping? We have tons of reports of girls who went to police. There are some very sickening ones where a girl goes to police. They turn her away, and two guys literally walk out of the police station with her. They see her in the police station. They walk out with her. They take her away and gang rape her. And then after they're done with her, she goes and tries to get on a bus. A bus driver rapes her, and it just happens over and over again. And you're going, what? Doesn't make any sense. Duh. My goodness. Let's see. Take a couple more super chats and we'll jump back into some interesting stuff. Look at this. AP skipped my super chat on Clandace USS Liberty video. Shame on you, AP. But we don't care. Why are you bringing that up here? How much do you think Tate will blame his videos on AI? He is always talking about the Matrix. Seems like he would have heard it here. First dude is trash. He's going to blame some things on that, like the voice recordings where he's admitting that he choked and raped a girl. He's going to say that's fake or something like that.
Yeah, that was his initial response. He claimed that it's fake, but then they have to actually go before the law, before the courts, which accepted it as evidence, and he can't do it.
And you have tech nerds who specialize in doing that.
Yeah.
Love you guys. I was permanently banned from X for saying Mo was a pedophile and a flat earther. I appealed it 5 times. Still banned? Still banned on there now?
Make a new profile, go there and say something like all Jews deserve to be killed, and you will not be banned.
Yeah, you'll be liberated from.
I don't know what in the world is happening with the whole banning system there, but something really needs to be fixed.
Yeah, you'd have to figure out what's going on, because I say Mohammed's a pedophile like 50 times a week on there. I don't have any problems. So Trump should continue the Muslim ban. What Muslim ban? So in the movie, yeah, here you go. So in the movie Taken, Liam Neeson would be the bad guy. Yeah. Yes. Everyone would be after him. How dare you stop this from happening to your daughter? Shame on you. You're the bad guy. How many decades?
I have to say one thing very quickly. As much as I like the movie Taken, and as much as I like such movies,
I've never seen it.
Movies like that also kind of contributed to people really misunderstanding what human trafficking is and thinking.
Thinking that's what it is. He's just kidnapping girls and stuff like that.
Like human trafficking is all about some people coming and kidnapping girls and putting them in cages and putting them out for auction and all that. The vast majority of
the minority. That's the minority way.
The vast majority doesn't happen that way. The vast majority happens through manipulation, psychological pressure, and so on.
How many decades have the British authorities been turning a blind eye? A few. What the 2-minute video London policeman in Edgware Road converts to Islam. What's wrong with this? What do you mean, what the 2-minute? You mean watch it?
What the 2-minute video? What the 2-minute video, London?
I'll have to look that up. Let's see. Muslims say that those who criticize Islam are Islamophobes, yet are criticizing Christians. I guess this makes them guilty as Christophobes. Yeah, that's the issue, the hypocrisy. Oh, you're criticizing us, you're an Islamophobe. One, you guys criticize Christians and Christianity and Jews, especially, all day long. Second, your God and your prophet did that long before me or AP or anyone else here said one word about Islam. Islam was talking about us, had lots of things to say about us. And it's significantly worse than the things we say. In other words, in the Quran, it's fight those who do not believe. And for Muhammad, it's execute apostates and critics and so on. And we just say, hey, don't do that. And, oh, I can't believe you're persecuting us by saying not to kill you. Idiotic nonsense. Thanks, guys, for being courageous. Here's what we do.
Oh, thank you.
Not too long ago, a 92-year-old helpless woman was raped at a care center in Norway by the care worker, caught in the act by a coworker, and this is just a drop in the ocean. I won't complain if you tear out a page for me.
Did I just read that correctly? 92-year-old?
Mm-hmm. A logic man will not complain if you tear out a page. For a logic man. There isn't very many pals of Stein's in Palestinian. Not very many pals of Stein's. How would you respond to Muslims making this argument? When the Quran says X happened at the time, you know it's correct because otherwise contemporaries would have pointed it out and Islam would have therefore been falsified. You'd have to give a specific example because what are you talking about? If Muhammad says something around a bunch of his ignorant, dumb followers, how are they going to know that he's wrong? Especially when he would gladly chop your head off for saying he's wrong.
The funny thing is, we even have an example of something that that is in the Quran where Christians actually came and objected and asked questions, and it is part of the Hadith records. It's one of the rare instances where it's actually still retained, which is about Mary, where Mother Mary is referred to as sister of Aaron in the Quran.
They
you
call
have
them out.
a hadith according to which Christians came and said, "What do you guys mean by sister of Aaron?" Because Aaron and Mary lived a long time apart. They have
About
nothing to do
14
with it.
centuries apart.
And Muhammad then said, back then they used to refer to people by the names of
Famous people.
yeah, something like that. Yeah. And, of course, you don't have the Christians arguing back against that. You just have that, and that's it.
Yeah. And by the way, Alphonse, you actually have tons of examples of people calling out Muhammad. The issue of Muhammad and his adopted son's wife, Zainab, that became a huge issue. People were complaining about that. And so he had to abolish adoption in Islam to justify it. Tons of times in the Quran, they're making fun of Muhammad for believing stories that they knew were fables. Muhammad's passing them off as revelations. They keep telling him we know where you got this from. So, one, people back then didn't know everything, and therefore, if Muhammad is saying something about human reproduction or something like that, or about the universe, how are they going to prove that stars aren't missiles that Allah uses to shoot demons? So later, people would find out that stuff's wrong. But the pagans of Muhammad's time knew a lot more than he did about what's a fable and what's not a fable. So that happened. Meanwhile, Elon spreads Russian-Soviet propaganda. I bet he's being paid by Russia, and that's where his money came from. Tezbot says, thank God for Elon. These crimes make previous PDF scandals look tame. Do you see any hope for the UK? Yes, from shining a big spotlight on it and people drawing attention to it. Hey, the person said wouldn't be upset if you did something to a page. Doesn't mean you had to do it. Doesn't mean you had to do it.
That's not what I did. I just had to.
Oh, yeah. I get it. Why are we even allowing Muslims to come into countries, make Islam a crime, life in prison for anyone practicing the religion? No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Locking people up for... See, here's the thing. Once you say governments can just lock people up for what they believe, that government is probably not going to stop at Islam. That government's going to stop at any beliefs that go against the government. And that gets dangerous real quick. So, better governments protect your populations from jihadis and so on, and from groomers, all this stuff, and let us destroy Islam and stay out of our freaking way and stop protecting it. That's the problem. The problem isn't that governments aren't just locking people up and so on. The problem is that governments try to silence critics. They do it. Which government isn't, we need a new Islamophobia bureau to combat Islamophobia. Stay out of the way. Do something or stay out of the way. Muhammad people, that's funny. Muhammad people will start calling Elon al-Dajjal, AI Dajjal, because Elon is calling out Islam. Hijab will start the movement, you see. That'd be funny.
That's what they do.
Hey, someone yesterday said we should call pedophiles Muhammad people. I was thinking why don't we just call them Prophet Mo's? Like, oh man, another Prophet Mo just got caught with a 12-year-old girl. As bad as this sounds, the people themselves are the problem, because how can you keep being frustrated when it seems like you are the only one? That is another issue. When you can look at statistics of people in various countries and stuff, and it'll be like 70% of the population of this, 80% of the population are against that. And they'll still keep electing politicians who do the opposite of what they want. From Detroit to Beijing to London, all pimps bribe cops. That's true. That is true. Why aren't my fellow enlightened atheists saying all religions are the same and religion poisons everything the way we usually do? That's good. Well, some are. Some still are. But Islam means peace. Muhammad was a feminist. Hijab empowers women, and Muslim is a race. Deal with it. That's pretty much the summary of what all governments and all journalists are saying still. From the toilet to the sink, fecal stein will be free. Very rude, very rude. People are suffering. Aisha was 6 when Momo set his eyes on her, 9 when he set his hands on her. 6 plus 9 equals the age of Tate's victim was, you see. Yes, this is another mathematical marvel of Islam. How can anyone deny this? Muslim gangs are getting caught and sent to jail for harming and twisting the innocent, and the Ummah getting pushback for their approval is merciful compared to their destination in the afterlife. It is crazy that you have all these dawah guys whining. Like, these are guys who want to execute everyone who disagrees with them. But the moment you say, hey, grooming gangs are bad, we're being persecuted, help us, everyone. Bunch of cowards. Even as an adult, you can be manipulated if you lack self-worth, etc. Domestic abuse rife. So these crimes, even more despicable. That's true. Certain people are significantly more susceptible to being manipulated than others. And manipulators can detect them. Matter of fact, Andrew Tate came up with an entire system for spotting the girls who are easiest to manipulate. And and he decided to train people, to train other people, to train young guys on how to find the girls who are easy to manipulate and to manipulate them into doing porn for you. Candace, now Benny, and even Tate, aren't they all use God's name in vain? Also, they all sound cultish, greedy, and selfish, like Christian Dawa. Who's Christian Dawa? I think he means Central Dawa. Yeah. It's too late for Muhammad and his followers for the last millennia and a half, but I pray the Muslims for this age accept Christ for salvation. And one of the most important things you can do is expose their fake prophet. That's the biggest thing you could do to help them. You say, what? What about just preaching? As long as they believe in a prophet who keeps them from understanding the gospel, that is going to be a huge obstacle. So you deal with that. Always seems to be the red pill, I'm so masculine, douches who blame the girls who don't go to cops. Thought protecting women was peak masculinity, but maybe I'm just a beta simp for thinking like that. Yeah, men are supposed to protect women, but why aren't these women protecting themselves when they're 12 years old and surrounded by a gang of rapists? Andrew Tate has de-Islamized. Good for him. I hope he finds Christ now. The real Christ, not the one of the Quran. Actually, he says he's still a Muslim, and all the Muslims who are criticizing him are wrong. We might, that's another show we need to cover, sort of Tate versus everyone, because everyone's been calling him out now. And he's just blocking them all after responding to them like a month or two ago by just calling them gay when they criticized him when he was celebrating Christmas and so on. And they're saying, you're not being a good Muslim. And he says, shut up, you're gay. Now he just blocks them. And still saying that he's a real Muslim and he doesn't have to listen to them.
It's funny to me that he actually blocked Sajid Lipham.
He blocked them. He blocked Fareed, Jake, all those guys. I keep seeing people share, why is Tate blocking all the Muslims? That's awesome. And for this we have Mohammed Hijab to thank. He's the one who put them in this situation by putting forward Andrew Tate as the new face of Dawah.
That's what you get.
Hopefully this atrocious scandal will shed light on the 320,000 missing children in America. Dr. Phil warned that children crossing the border are being sent into prostitution and sweatshops. Yes, they are. It's a huge issue. Spent way too much time on X today, bringing myself to a slow boil over the present wave of anti-Semitism on there. Questions, what percentage of it do you think is bots? If so, from where? I do not know those details.
There are lots of bots. One of those things was revealed when recently they banned a certain network of gropers, where together with one account that was spreading all kinds of messed up things like rape threats and child rape threats, they took down all connected accounts, which resulted in the banning of dozens of accounts that were seemingly all tied to one person, and were just tweeting random things against Jews and pro-Hitler and all that. There is a lot of really messed up stuff going on with the use of bots as well. I don't know.
Um, I want to get back to some of the, because there is some seriously horrifying stuff that I want to read about these cases that Elon is sharing, which is why people are flipping out. But I keep checking out these the super chats that are in there. There's interesting stuff in there. Let's see. UNAP should create new British voices to make fun of Pierce, similar to Ali Dawa and Mohammed Hijab. You see, we should come up with good voices for everyone. Did you see this is what I want to see? Did you see Crayon humiliate Tate on Spaces? AP, what happened there? Because you were telling me about that right before we went live.
Well, the thing is, I didn't really see the whole thing. I just saw that right before we went live. I bookmarked it and was going to look at that later. But apparently, Tate was dumb enough to actually get into a space with Murdered by Cranes, and started
What an idiot!
him.
Wait, AP, hang on. The person who is the foremost expert on the planet on all the charges against it, reads all the court documents, all that stuff, has gone through all the videos, all Tate's past tweets, documented everything, made probably at least dozens, but possibly hundreds of videos responding to him. You're saying Tate decided to mouth off to that person?
Yes.
Smart. That's like hey, that's right up there with Mohammed Hijab mouthing off to Elon, as we're about to see.
The funny thing is, I only saw like a brief few seconds of it, and Andrew Tate actually came in and started referring to Murdered by Cranes as a pedophile, and Murdered by Cranes then responded with like,
Tate.
Yeah,
he accused.
Yeah, he responded with like he said, wait, you're calling me a pedophile. Do you want me to remind you that you are currently being charged for continuously raping and trafficking a minor who was 15 years old, and so on. So it seems really bad. I have to
really done. Just walked right into it. Like, wow. Tate, good at manipulation, terrible at other basic tactics.
Well, this is the thing. Like, well, yesterday we were. Somebody asked, "Do you think he's a psychopath?" And we both said, "No, definitely not." Tate has a serious problem, and he seems to have a great narcissism problem, a narcissistic personality disorder. He is not very emotionally strong and resilient when he's under attack. He can't just be ice cold and ignore it. When he sees that people talk about him, he very easily gets very angry and annoyed and starts obsessing or attacking people back and all that. So when he sees that some guy actually investigated him for quite a while and exposes him day and night, instead of being
emotionally
smarter and trying to ignore it and suppress it in different ways, he actually goes out there and tries to childishly and stupidly attack this person, and only makes it worse. Earlier, he went on a post where Misfit Patriot or something like that. This guy, he was quoting me and making a
lot of people have been quoting you lately, AP.
I know, it's kind of funny.
It's amazing. Like I'm reading complete like channels that I've never seen before. I'll be looking something up and I'll look at some of these like really big channels and stuff, and I'm like, oh, cool. This person's posting on this, and then they're actually quoting you.
I know,
they're actually sharing one of your videos or something like that. Pretty
this
awesome.
This actually made me feel better about things. Lots of times over the last year or so, when I see people, when I see Andrew Tate going out there and being a rapist, human trafficker, I see how he gets away and people are not speaking up, and I get discouraged and demoralized.
You just want to say, fine, if you guys want to fall for this, screw you.
What's wrong with people, man? But then,
why am I trying to help these people?
Now I realize that. Lately, these last few days, I started blasting and talking about the stuff and putting things out there, and people actually started using like me calling it out, and I had conservatives, major accounts, joining in and following me and sharing this stuff. So maybe this kind of encourages me a little bit and makes me think, well, there seems to be a way to influence things. After all, and to wake people up and to rattle the environment a little bit, and to make people talk about it. So maybe I shouldn't be always so pessimistic about it.
Yeah, it's the same thing as polemics dealing with Islam and stuff. You just everyone, the Quran is 2000 You go back to 2007. The Quran has been perfectly preserved. It's a miracle. No. Look at all these sexual variants. Look what your sources say. 2008. The Quran's been perfectly preserved. It's a miracle. Guys, we're literally putting it in front of your faces. It has not been perfectly preserved. 2009. The Quran's been perfectly preserved. It's a miracle. 2010. Same thing. 2011. 2012. 2000, and so on. All of a sudden, it'll be 2020, 2021, and then it all just collapses. It's like, whoa. It wasn't pointless. It wasn't pointless. It's hard. It's hard, and it takes way longer than you think it should. But if you're just relentless and you keep coming up against it, eventually you reach some sort of threshold, which it's like, like with Tate right now, with people trying to interview Tate, just a year or two ago, he could get away with a lot more when he would go on like with Candace. People would respond to it and point it out, but not like they did right now. Now it's just like instant rapist, 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 rapist. They're shouting him down way more quickly. And so it's things are a changing. Like what big conservative influencer is going to want to have him on after just seeing what just happened? How quickly that fell apart. Besides,
I did do a big thing, which I feel very happy about. Just the whole thing when he started pressuring Samantha Smith and forced her to backtrack and apologize, and then he started even mocking her after she apologized and said to her, anyone who calls me and my brother rapist will be sued, no exception. And I highlighted it and said Andrew Tate is a rapist. It has like 192,000 likes right now. And nice. So many people because of this started doing it as well and joined in and started sharing it, and it's good to see. So I don't know, if we try hard, we can make an impact, and
we can make a difference, ladies and gentlemen.
After all, so it's very strange coming from me after I have been very, very pessimistic for quite a long time now.
And mean,
but
you would seem pessimistic. It's all pointless. We're just wasting our time. We're wasting our time. It's all pointless. It's all a waste.
But to see this stuff is really good.
It's really good. That's why I said this is an awesome start to a year. We did the final show at the end of 2024. I was asking people like, how can it? I mean, have you ever seen a year worse for this? Worse for Dawa than 2024? No one had ever seen anything like that. And then the prediction is 2025 going to get worse or be the same or get better for Dawa? And everyone said it was going to get worse. That the ball is rolling. And here we are, like all of January is the terrorist attack, the Bourbon Street terrorist attack, and the grooming gangs. And that's how it's starting. And then the Dawa guys flipping out and trying to silence people over talking about the grooming gang. Awesome stuff. Oh, on the note that AP was talking about, like Tate being a narcissist, keep in mind there's some overlap between narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths and so on. And that for all of them, it's themselves first, right? They can have similar reactions and so on in certain situations. The difference is the psychopath is going to be more calculating. A psychopath might flip out on you, but that will be because he has sort of considered all his options and decided this is what will be most effective in getting what I want. And that might include flipping out. For someone like Andrew Tate, it's always you cross me and now I have to flip out. Yeah. And he's always gonna have an emotional tantrum. All right, we're actually almost caught up on these super chats. Let's go through the last couple, and then we'll jump back in this. Guys, there's lots of stuff to cover. Dave, when you were AP, I'll go through these real quick. Dave, when you were AP, tore out a page from the Quran, did you guys put some salt on the page first? Would be hilarious if you did. That would be funny if we had like a dinner, like we're at a nice table with like candles and stuff like this, and we bring it out, and it's like I got one of those trays with the lids on it, and it's roast Quran. Wouldn't that be funny?
We should have edible Quran pages, man.
We should. You saw me post the drinkable Quran pages, right? Did you see that?
Did I?
You can now buy dissolvable Quran pages to put in your drink, and it dissolves the Quran so you can drink it. I posted that, and I said, look, if you guys get to drink it, then don't complain when I eat it. More Boom Boom Room episode coming soon. Candace Owens. We would need someone who can play Candace Owens. So if someone out there is a good actress and
John McCrea, man.
Dude, as soon as I said good actress, I thought, wait a minute, that would be hilarious if we put a wig on John McCrea. That would be funny. That vegan teacher is in the chat causing a ruckus. Tarun called in backup. That's fine. Vegans are people too. Barely, but they're still people. I said barely. There is data showing that Elon had significant influence on young men in the election. He inspired them, and in turn, they voted for Trump. Elon may have swung the election. Elon may have done that. So yeah, keep up the great work, guys. That's why people should be trying to get along with him. If you had a brain in your head, be trying to get along with him. Instead, we will humiliate him. This is also for all your work you have done to expose Islam. Also, AP, you can use the same method to Christianity and see it won't work. Join us. Hey, you went to church today, huh? Your wife tweeted. Your wife tweeted. My husband went to church with me today, and I did. Yeah, and I asked, and I said, did he walk into the church and burst in a ball of flames?
Like the song. Yeah, I did. I went to church today with her to try it out. She asked me if I wanted. She wanted to go to a church to try it out, and she just briefly brought it up to me and asked if I would like to join her on that, and I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And she was just very happy, so we went and
good man,
good boy,
good boy, going to church, good boy.
It's my first time ever to actually go to church.
You've never gone to a church service?
Never, no. First time ever.
Great job, Mrs. AP. He will convert or he will be humiliated. All right, guys, we still have some more super chats, but I just can't resist. We have to get back.
You know what's the funny thing? When I walk outside in random places, there is rarely ever a time, unless we are like at some airport or some other place, where people randomly recognize me. And I always thought, for some reason, if I'm recognized from my online stuff, it might be in some religious places. And we actually went to a church in a different town, and I had never been there. And some guy approached me, and he's like, hey, this might be a very awkward question, but do you happen to have a YouTube channel? And I'm like, yep. And then somebody else came and said, this guy looks like somebody that I watch on YouTube. So two different people recognize me at some tiny church, and
that's a good sign.
It's a very interesting.
That means that church is based.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's weird? I thought about using this as an example of like, when do you start thinking something is miraculous? But you know the Salvation Army people who ring the bells out in front of supermarkets and stuff right before Christmas.
Yes.
So it's right before Christmas. I'm going to the grocery store. I walk in there, and I always try to give the Salvation Army guys money because they gave gifts to me and to all the inmates the entire time I was locked up, jail and prison. Every year, they would. It's not like fancy stuff. They would give like pairs of socks and stuff, like new pairs of socks, hygiene, shampoo, things like that. But it was cool because every year they gave everyone in the jail or prison got something and stuff. So anyway, I know they do cool stuff. So anyway, I walk over there. I drop some cash in the bucket, and as I'm walking away, the lady goes, "Thank you, David." And so I'm walking away, and I'm thinking, oh, she knows I'm David, which is weird because normally when people go, "Hey, aren't you on YouTube?" they go something like that. They don't say, "Hey, David," right? She goes, "Thank you, David," and then so I'm walking away. I'm going, she knows me. Should I turn around and talk to her? No, I don't feel like it. So I keep walking, and then a lady's walking past me, going to the bucket, and the same lady goes, "Hi, April," and I go, "Wait a minute." She knew my name and knew this other lady's name. So I'm like doing the probability math, right? It's like, okay, wait. I'm thinking, okay, maybe she knows me from videos, and maybe this is just her friend that she knows. And I was thinking, but it was kind of creepy, right? That she knew two names back to back, just a random lady ringing a bell. And so anyway, I was thinking, it's possible, like, what, angel, psychic, something like prophetess or something like that. But I'm thinking, like, what would it take? And I was thinking, okay, if I actually stood there and another person walked up and she named it, "Hey, Doug," then I'd be really creeped out. If it happened 4 or 5 times, then I would want to do some. Then I'd start thinking, wait a minute, there's a little too much right here. But anyway, I thought of that as an example of.
So did you ever figure out what happened?
No, I just left. What's so funny?
Wow, man. Normally, after such a story, you wait for what happened and what that was all about. Like the mystery is resolved. Here, we're just left with wondering what in the world happened.
Yeah.
This is
Shout
what
out to
as a story.
Shout out to Fisherman's Corner and everyone else who has gifted any Apologetics Roadshow memberships. Thank you. And we got some more super chats. We'll get to those in a minute. But we want to check out a little bit more of this stuff that Elon's been. And guys, it's endless. We could probably stay on here for 4 or 5 hours just going through the stuff that Elon's been tweeting and sharing. So you have some of the stuff like this where he's given some of the examples. He's actually posting some of the stuff from court documents and so on. So again, this is a point where if you're watching with your kids or something like that and they're young, you might not want them to hear some of this. So Elon says, for anyone doubting the severity and depravity of the mass gang rapes of little girls in Britain, go to the source material and read the court transcripts. I did. It is worse than you could possibly imagine. And he gives an example here. You, Mohammed Karar, prepared her for gang butt rape by using a pump to expand her back passage. You subjected her to a gang rape by 5 or 6 men. At one point, she had 4 men inside her. 4 men inside her. 4 men inside her, guys. Do you understand? She's got 3 holes. That means 2 guys are, do the math. A red ball was placed in her mouth to keep her quiet. Not only were you both involved in the commercial sexual exploitation of GH, you also used her for your own self-gratification. You think? You both raped her when she was under 13. When she was very young, although it is not clear whether she was under 13, you both raped her at the same time, oral and vaginal and so on. It happened on more than one occasion. We read cases where a child was doused in petrol and threatened with being set alight, children who are threatened with guns, children who witness. You're wondering, how do you keep them quiet? What happens when they stop listening to you? Douse them in gasoline and be holding a match and saying, you're going to talk, you're going to go report us? You're going to complain about us again? You're going to do what we want. And you say, but why not just get this person arrested? Guy, it's a community of rapists and pedophiles. What do you do? Where do you go? Children who were threatened with guns, children who witnessed brutally violent rapes and were threatened that they would be the next victim if they told anyone. Girls as young as 11 were raped by large numbers of male perpetrators, one after the other. In 2 of the cases we read, fathers tracked down their daughters and tried to remove them from houses where they were being abused, only to be arrested themselves when police were called to the scene. In a small number of cases, which have already seen media attention, the victims were arrested for offenses such as breach of the peace or being drunk and disorderly, with no action taken against the perpetrators of rape and sexual assault against children. No action taken against the guys. And shame on Elon for drawing attention to this, is what we keep hearing. So this goes on and on and on like this, and then he starts going after Keir Starmer. Starmer must go. He's a national embarrassment, because then you start having British politicians starting to respond to him, and it does not go well for them. Elon... Look at this. Inevitable West. Breaking. Keir Starmer will respond to Elon Musk's grooming gang comments in a statement tomorrow. Why did it take so long? Elon says, prepare for some epic cringe. So anyway, everyone, this is all the way back on January 5th when it was just getting started. It kept snowballing. Look at this. Mario here says, Starmer's Islamophobia plan blasted as a gift to the grooming gangs. Think about this. So you've got the grooming gangs, and then you've got Keir Starmer and the Labour Party and so on saying, hey, we need to crack down on Islamophobia and stop people from complaining about anything that Muslims do. And who are you doing? Who are you helping there? You're helping the grooming gangs. You're making it so that if like Samantha Smith goes on Twitter and posts what happened to her, police will actually come after her. And what's amazing, guys, this has already been happening. They haven't been throwing the victims in prison and stuff. They've been throwing other people in prison and so on. But police have been coming to the victims for posting what happened to them and asking them to take down their posts and so on. What is this? Matt Goodwin says, today a number of prominent, we're still on January 5th, guys. This is all January 5th here. Today, a number of prominent journalists criticized my suggestion that the UK media class has failed to sufficiently cover the rape gang scandal, which will go down as one of the biggest scandals in our history. And again, Elon can just say, wow, and amplify it significantly. He's posting here about Islamists and so on having a big rally. Nigel Farage and Islam and so on. Free Press says the serial rape of thousands of English girls went on for many years. Few in power cared. Then Elon Musk started tweeting. That's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. So anyway, guy, look, we are still on January 5th. This guy is a machine. He's running all this stuff. He's the CEO of all these places and companies and so on. And still dozens of tweets in a day. He drew massive attention pretty much overnight. And then he's sharing stuff like this, again, with just wow. Lord Ahmed of Rotherham was convicted of buggery of a boy under 11 in 2022. A judge decided his brother was too old to stand trial, but a trial of the facts determined he was also a pedophile. Only Parliament can remove this title, but they won't make time to do it. He keeps the name Lord. Oh, and here we have this. Millions of rapes. Millions of rapes here. I meme, therefore I am says, what is truly perplexing is that the British government didn't take this horrific issue seriously, and we're only now discussing it on a national stage. Yeah, I think this video clip, we'll go and watch it. I think this video clip is from 2018. But you have an occasional rare person in the British government who will call this stuff out straight up. But they're viewed as the enemies too. So let's go ahead and check out that little clip.
I feel that reply is shamefully inadequate, because these girls are usually raped several times a day. And so if we accept the views of our lead police officer for child protection, of Rotherham's MP, and of the recent Jay and Quilliam reports, we seem to be looking at millions of rapes of white and Sikh girls by Muslim men, only 222 of whom have been convicted since 2005. So, my lords, will the government ask our Muslim leaders whether the perpetrators can claim that their behaviour is sanctioned in the Quran, and to issue a fatwa against it?
You hear the moans?
And second, my lords, will the government encourage a national debate about the various interpretations of Islam? Can we talk about Islam without being accused of hate crime?
Nope. Did you hear the moaning? What was he saying? Hey, if you have all these Muslim guys, and some of them are in court, and of course, eventually we saw them even yelling Allahu Akbar and stuff in court. And it's Muslim guys specifically targeting non-Muslim girls, not just white British girls. They're targeting Sikhs as well, as he pointed out. And he says, can we investigate to see if these guys think that it's justified by the Quran and the Hadith? And if there are Muslims who interpret it differently, can we open up a debate about what is the correct interpretation? That seems completely commonsensical, like absolutely 100% commonsensical. If you've got all these guys and they seem to think as a community that it is perfectly reasonable to rape and gang rape and so on these non-Muslim girls, can we try to figure out what the origin of that belief is? And if it's related to the religion, it would be good to know that. If it's not, and if they have misinterpreted Islam, then can we at least get them to realize that and have all the other Muslims show them the correct way? Can we have a discussion about that? And no, you can't. You must not raise the issue. You must not have the discussion. And AP, I have to say, if all these politicians really thought there's nothing like this in Islam and Islam condemns all this, why wouldn't you say, yes, let's go so we can expose these guys and we can show they've got the Quran wrong?
How dare you ask questions?
Can't
How
do
dare
that.
you ask questions?
Can't do that. Can't even do that. Can't even. It's one
appalling.
it's one of the only British politicians I've seen who has the slightest bit of common sense combined with testicular fortitude.
You know,
What?
so the death penalty is kind of seen as an outdated and rejected thing in Europe. And I understand that even when that when the death penalty itself is seen as outdated and no longer desirable, public executions would of course be completely unthinkable. However, I think that that there are some things that just cross the line too much and which have reached a level of being so unacceptable and so unfixable that there maybe have to be better solutions. To if you look at entire gangs forming and organizing together to rape little children, to rape little girls. And this can just happen. And this is not being stopped. In fact, people make excuses for that. I think it would be about time for some other people to take control of the situation and to take proper care of these gangs.
What do you think about just castration as a punishment?
No.
First offense?
No. If you associate with these crimes, I think you should just be put into a large building designated for that. After it has been ruled that you are definitely guilty and you were definitely part of that, and then maybe you should just have your life squeezed out of you.
What if? Hey, we'll give you an alternative: castration or death.
What about both? First castration and then
castrate
death.
them, then make fun of them. It would. I mean, it sucks that you have to get brutal. Sometimes you just have to get brutal because it's the only way to stop something that is also brutal. Sometimes.
What about castration by shooting squad?
Yeah. Everyone aim. AP is messed up, ladies and gentlemen. AP is as cold as ice out here.
Ice cold hustlers.
Okay, so guys, again, we do not have time to go through. We could spend hours going through this. I point out again, we've gone through a bunch of them already, and we're still on January 5th. This is just a day. This is just a day in the life of Elon's tweets. He is an absolute machine. What is this? Let's see. Let me just scroll up, see if there's any video clips. But there's tons of these where he just says yes, yup, and so on. Shocking, troubling, things like that. Constantine Kissin here. These are the guys from Trigonometry. Pretty cool. They do put out some good work. We don't need another grooming gangs query. What we need is for all cases to be re-prosecuted as racially aggravated hate crimes and the perpetrators to be given extremely harsh sentences and or deported if at all possible, and so on. Elon just says true. So there's tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of this. Here he's, look at this chain. So Elon Musk reposting Mario, who's sharing Gad sad. Suicidal empathy, when you care more about the perpetrator than the victim. Something going on. So have they deported any of the gang rapists? Home Office refuses to publish groomer deportation data. So this happens over and over and over and over and over again. He just doesn't stop. He just doesn't stop. Prison for Starmer. These girls were all killed by a Muslim with a knife in England, blah, blah, blah. That's radio. So he keeps going through this over and over and over again. Look, more statistics. 3.3 Finns per 10,000 citizens were sentenced for sexual crimes in Finland in 2017. 138 Afghan citizens per 10,000 citizens were sentenced for sexual crimes in Finland 2017. So you see the statistics there. Look who's at the top: Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Turkey.
This is kind of Islamophobic, man.
It's extremely Islamophobic, and that's why we're drawing attention to it now. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we simply do not have the time to go over this. We'll sort of stop this one. Once again, terrible. He's sharing someone else. CPS under Keir Starmer, Child Protective Services, under Keir Starmer, would often, because remember, guys, he controlled that back in the day, would often not prosecute the Muslim child rapists. For example, in this case, even though the accused's DNA was found on the victim's underwear, they did not take any further action. You can't. Wow. You can't. It will cause community division. You can't. It would hurt people's feelings and so on. 12-year-old girl was raped by multiple groups of Pakistani men, one after the other, while she was escaping from the previous men. How many times has this happened?
But what about white school shooters?
Check this out. On October 27th, 2006, Samantha was abducted by two Asian men who drove her around Oldham for hours and then raped her. They then threw her out of a moving car in the Chatterton area of Oldham. She ran away and asked another man for help. He invited Samantha inside and then dragged her upstairs and sexually assaulted her. She ran away whilst he was calling his friends to come and join him. At that point, a taxi driver and his passenger pulled up beside her to ask if she was okay. They said she looked very upset and like she'd been through hell, and so offered to take her to the police station and then home. They then took Samantha to a house, took her inside, and then locked her in a room where 5 Asian men went on to rape her over and over for nearly 24 hours.
Asian men.
And you look there, you can't see it because it gets cut off. The ringleader was Shakil Chowdhury, and he received a 3-year sentence for leading this.
Shakil Chowdhury sounds like a ginger British guy.
So this is the stuff that Elon's been posting. And guys, if you go through this, there's tons of stuff like that where you actually get the actual details and the court reports and so on for when some of these guys were actually prosecuted and so on. Anyway, that's what Elon's been doing.
There's a clear pattern here where you have a bunch of Asian people, Japanese, Korean, Chinese
with
people,
their kung fu and their karate and their
kung
and their
fu
fried rice. That's what Asians do, guys. We know we're sounding. It's deliberately so. They call these Pakistani Muslim rapists Asians.
They're not Asians. They are Pakistanis. They are subcontinental subhumans.
It's funny, like why not just say Pakistani? Because they won't say Pakistani because
hold up. I have to clarify something here. When I just said subcontinental subhumans, I'm not meaning that subcontinental people are subhumans. I'm saying that specifically these grooming gang people are subhumans from the subcontinent. And
you just have to call them Asians so that people hear Asian and they don't hear Pakistani, because you don't want people becoming suspicious of Pakistanis around their daughters. Don't want them to do that. So guys, this goes on and 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 on. Too many to cover. But then we get the response from Mohammed Hijab. And we're going to go ahead and check out the response from Mohammed Hijab. Take a couple more super chats, and we'll check out Hijab's awesome response because he offered multiple responses. We'll kind of burn through those real quick. Aren't you afraid that Allah might avenge the Muslims by ignoring Aren't you afraid that Allah might avenge the Muslims by ignoring Palestine and destroying the houses of people who have nothing to do with anything? That's what we keep. If you guys don't know what that's about, that keeps happening online. It's like, you see, Allah's punishing LA by burning it to the ground for what's happening in Palestine.
And they're posting AI videos.
Take it like the new Muhammad. He likes you until you disagree with him. Oh, Tate is like the new Muhammad. He likes you until you disagree with him, and he wants to make Britain his Medina.
Oh, speaking of Tate being the new Muhammad, earlier he was responding to this guy. That's what I was saying earlier before you rudely interrupted me. What was his name? Misfit Patriot or something. He was talking about Andrew Tate and how there is an Andrew Tate problem on the right recently, and people need to speak out about this. He just responded to him. Andrew Tate actually came and responded to his post with "Hello Jew," which is for which people started highlighting it even more now and saying, "Wow, look at this! Is this really who people want to associate with? Is this really who the conservatives want to associate with? Is this who people close to Donald Trump want to associate with? Look at this. Look at this. Anyway, I quoted it and said, "Hello, rapist."
That's what we keep pointing out, ladies and gentlemen. So AP had the perfect response there, but Tate is lashing out emotionally, and everything he's doing right now is stupid, which is not what you would expect from a psychopath. A psychopath would be very careful and calculating in all of this, but he's doing like the dumbest thing imaginable. He is in a time right now. Here's the thing. No one would be paying attention to him if he just kept his mouth shut right now. In other words, he's not nearly as popular as he was a couple of years ago. He's not as big of a concern as he was a couple of years ago, until he goes on some big podcast and everyone jumps on him and starts calling him a rapist. Do the math, genius. Just keep your mouth shut for a little while and talk to your dumb fans, and don't go on any big shows. And then people aren't going to pay it. Your critics are not going to pay attention to you. What a dope.
Why are you calling him a rapist, man?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Please don't sue me. Shared. Thank you, gentlemen. P.S. Tate is a grapist.
He's a rapist. Yeah. Andrew Tate is a rapist.
And I have to say, that was another stupid move. It was another stupid move. Extremely stupid move. What set off everyone going after him very recently. Again, AP has most of the credit for this. As far as the long-term credit, that's Murdered by Crayons and Milk Bar. They're the ones who've just relentlessly been exposing him. Yes. But recently, Tate made the huge blunder of attacking one of the victims of the UK grooming gangs. She said something about Tate, and he blasted her. No, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you. I'll destroy you. I'll destroy your life. You're going to be paying millions of pounds in court fees and stuff just to fight this in court. She apologized, took it down, was basically groveling. Please don't do it. She's only 20 years old. She was a victim of the grooming gangs for almost a decade. She wants nothing to do with any of this. So look, I'll do whatever you say. I'll take it all down. And they just kept going after her. And people watched and were horrified. What is this? What is wrong with this guy, man? He's going after a freaking girl who's a victim of grooming gangs, and he's acting domineering over her in the same exact way that the grooming gangs. Why? Because that's exactly how he acts. And people were horrified. AP blasted him for it, and that's what took off. And now Tate can't show his face anywhere without getting blasted. And he has no idea what to do because he has no plan B. He's locked into his methods. He has no plan B.
Powerful.
D. Wood, ice water in veins. Tate, crybaby and insecure. That's true.
True.
Tate is Norwegian word for stupid, and it's pronounced exactly the same as the name Tate. You see, this proves Andrew Tate is stupid. And who's also stupid is Stupiders. Remember him, Stu Peters? Andrew Tate ran a grooming gang university. Exactly. That's the issue, guys. That's the issue for all these people. We're against the grooming gangs. Now let's get Andrew Tate on to be our new hero. He had a school and a program and a training course for teaching people how to groom girls. Good day from Australia, David the Dawa Destroyer and AP the Jerk. I mean Turk. Thank good he corrected that. D. Wood, please make an inspiring video addressing the endless Islamic mass immigration, killings, rapes, kidnappings, etc. It's a disheartening single. Making an inspiring video? I will inspire you all by talking about the endless grooming gangs and how your governments are complicit.
If you want an inspiring video, go to Inspiring Philosophy.
Yeah, he gives the inspiring ones. Hi, from England, Starmer leads a pedo death cult. Yeah, pretty much. One victim went to court. The judge was one of the abusers. Dang.
Powerful.
Don't forget, some are just drugged and then released after gang rape. So when they go to police, their testimony is now tainted if it goes to court and dismiss another way to get away with it. That's the other thing. The groomers will find all kinds of ways to get away with it and to discredit the girls if anything happens. If you guys make a Quran feast, let me be the chef. I promise I'll make the most haram meal in history. Oh, sounds delicious. Wouldn't it be ironic if Andrew Tate got convicted of diddling a girl named Aisha and they met 3 years beforehand? That would. This would prove that he's the Mahdi. Everyone should own a dog. It keep Islam away. Try it. That's true. Wonderful news, AP. Just curious, what are your thoughts on experiencing the divine liturgy? He went to church once. I don't know if he'd have many thoughts on experiencing the divine liturgy.
Oh, it was pretty. I don't know. It's I feel like I want to digest it a little bit before I say anything about it. I went
Not like
today.
not like the
for the
Quran though. Not like digesting the Quran. Different.
No. Went for the first time. It was a very Greek Orthodox experience. Was interesting. Very, very interesting stuff.
Nazir Afzal, OBE, started prosecutions in 2005 or 8 and met with labor via the Home Office, who told police to stop any further investigations till now. That's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. The government is complicit. What do you do? What do you do when you've got this horrible problem going on, and then you've got the government saying, and you know what? We really need to dial up prosecutions for Islamophobia for anyone who posts about this or anyone says any. That's some serious like end of your civilization type stuff there. And so if you wanted to do something, now would be the time. And everyone in Great Britain who isn't a complete lunatic should be thanking Elon for drawing attention to this. Excuse the vagueness. I meant in terms of reporting on events in Arabia at the time. So, for example, Jews say Uzair. They'll say, the Jews were saying that at his time in Arabia, or they would have debunked him. Alphonse, why would you think that Muhammad, talking to a bunch of pagans, his pagan followers, know a bunch of things about Judaism? Like what? Well, it's a weird kind of argument from silence, and arguments from silence are not always wrong. They can be valid if you can say, hey, if there were this, we would be aware of it. We would have. So the example that I give in the past is, I can say there's no fully grown elephant in this room. And I'm talking literally an actual elephant. Why? Because if there were an elephant in this room, I would expect to see it. I can't say with the same confidence, I don't see an insect in this room, therefore there is no insect. Why? Because if a fully grown elephant were in the room, I would obviously be aware of it. If an insect were in this room, I could be aware of it. It could fly in front of my face. But, I mean, there probably is an insect in this room somewhere on the floor or behind a shelf or something like this, a moth, something like that. So in other words, it's what reason do you think that if there were evidence for something that you would be aware of it and have access to it? What reason do you have for thinking that a bunch of pagans would have such knowledge of Judaism that if Muhammad said, hey, here's what that group of people that we're attacking over there believes, they would be like, what? What kind of idiot believes that, Muhammad? And if they did know that he was an idiot for saying it, what makes you think they would be blurting that out to someone who would freaking execute them for criticizing him? That's what I'm saying. It's a terrible argument, Alphonse. So share that with your buddies. Because think about the reasoning here. We have no record of any Jew in history ever saying Ezra is the son of Allah. And you say, oh, but the people of his time didn't point out how stupid this was. Therefore, it's true. What? Like what?
What if there is an elephant in the room, but it's in the size of an insect?
Yeah, that's why I said fully grown. Quit trying to get around it, weirdo.
What if it is fully grown, but it's still the size of an insect?
So anyway, Alphonse, one, you do not have the reactions of people. You don't have all the reactions recorded. You have Muslim sources that were recorded centuries later and so on. That's what you have to go on. Two, it doesn't say some random Jews of this time, as confirmed by people keeping their mouths shut when Muhammad blurted out that the Jews say Ezra's the son of God. This is a standard criticism against Jews from the Quran, which is an eternal book. The eternal Quran says Jews call Ezra the son of Allah. And the hadiths say that that's going to be the main accusation against Jews on the judgment day. Why did you worship Ezra? That's the main accusation. The main accusation against Christians, why'd you worship Jesus? The main accusation against Jews is going to be, why'd you worship Ezra? There should be some evidence. So following this, if that's true, if the Quran and the Hadith are correct, we should, here's where you would expect there to be evidence, like an elephant in the room. If Jews, their biggest crime of Jews is worshiping Ezra and calling him the son of God, you would at least expect to find one Jew somewhere ever worshiping Ezra and calling him the son of God. One, right? That makes sense. Since you can't, it seems like it's false. In other words, if you're going to make an argument, that one would be massively better than, but we don't have in the Muslim records pagans responding and saying, ha ha, Muhammad, don't you know about Judaism? We're experts in the topic.
The funny thing is also that it would probably be historically considered kind of what do you call it? It wouldn't be very typical of Jews to actively go out and engage in a huge discussion with this other guy.
I mean, they get accused of stuff left and right.
Believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
about what they
AP,
believe and
that's
don't
one of
believe.
our that's one of our complaints is when we go to Israel, they have no concern for responding to people blasting away at them all the time. Zero. We couldn't find any level of concern. They wanted to make it known that, hey, we didn't start this war and we want to get the hostages back. That's all they're focused on. We're sitting there pointing out, do you know what they're saying online? They're saying this and that. They're saying that like a Christian can't walk down the street in Israel without all the Jews spitting on him. So it's completely false. And we're like, hey, you should be responding. They don't care. They don't care about responding to what a bunch of idiots say about them. No
It's
interest.
also it has been historically the case that Jews just had this attitude of we don't have to discuss the things that we believe in or don't believe in with others. We should just focus on practicing what we believe and following God's commandments, and that's it. That's what we do. And when it comes to others, what we tell them is you should worship God. You should follow these basic laws, and we should encourage the non-Jews to do these things. But we don't want to really engage in interfaith discussions and all that. It's just pointless. It's not of any interest to us. So it would be not very typical of them to have lengthy back and forths and discussions with some guy named Mohammed in 7th century Arabia, who tries to steal their religion and switch it, and then tries to also criticize it and tries to mock it or something like that. The worst that they were probably doing to him was trolling him, as we can see in some narrations, in some hadiths, and in some of the Quran verses actually, and just testing him by asking him mock questions and then having him respond to it and making a fool out of himself. And they were just having fun with it. Probably that's that's probably the most that they were actually talking to him when it came to their beliefs. They wouldn't be very much concerned with having lengthy discussions about, wait a minute, we don't believe this, we don't believe that. They wouldn't have really concerned themselves with that.
And that's actually connected to, like, Christians want to preach to the entire world. So it matters to Christians if people aren't understanding them properly. You want all these people to convert. So you want them to have an accurate understanding. You don't want them to have wrong ideas. Islam too. Islam wants people to have a positive view about Islam, wants to correct people if they have an incorrect view of Islam, and so on. Judaism, because it doesn't emphasize like going around and converting the world, and that's not a thing. That's not a thing they do. Look, if you go over there and you want to say we believe what do we care? What do we care if you don't like our religion?
I don't care.
So Gabe says, I've been gone for a bit. Happy to be back. What have I missed? Looks interesting so far. If you mean this year, it's interesting, Gabe. It's very interesting. Lots of awesome, cool stuff going on. We're about to get to some super dope stuff with Mohammed Hijab. They're copying Prince Andrew. I enjoy reading Reddit ex-Muslim seething at AP and backing apostate Aladdin. Is that what goes on in the Reddit ex-Muslim community?
I haven't visited the ex-Muslim Reddit community in a long time, but I used to check it a long time ago, but then at some point I got sick of it because it felt like it is the worst, most
they have the biggest crybabies over there or something? What?
the worst, like kind of it's like the UCLA of ex-Muslim communities, you know. It's like really, really, really crybaby attitudes, like OMG, I can't believe
AP. Oh my goodness, he said something mean. Imagine someone walking in and hearing him say something mean. This would make them really sad and depressed, because that's what happens to us when someone disagrees with us.
Lots of people who apparently grew up in the West somewhere and don't actually know much about Islam and are just not Muslims and just go on there to kind of vent all that.
Gabe says they're British. No such thing as common sense. Do you think British class system has anything to do with this? Yes, the girls were of low economic class, while the lords are upper class and don't care. Yes, they have and this is kind of. You can have a degree of classism in the United States, and you can have, well, this guy's rich and this guy's poor and so on, but it's nowhere it boggles our minds when we see like the contempt that people will have for Tommy Robinson because he's working class and has a working class accent. But then if Douglas, and so he has to get shut down and locked up, whereas Douglas Murray can say the exact same words, but in his educated British accent, and he can be on every news program in the UK and he's totally fine. So it's similar with the girls. If these were the daughters of the important, wealthy people with educated accents and so on, they might have taken it more seriously. Recently, Piers Morgan had asked Andrew Wilson and Mohammed Hijab to talk on his show about the grooming rape gangs. Unsurprisingly, Hijab refused. That's actually important. Again, we've got more super chats that we're going to go through, but we do want to address this. Yeah, and that's what's funny because Hijab is calling out Elon Musk for being a coward and not debating him. It's like you just had an opportunity to debate this on Piers Morgan. You said no. Why? AP, do you know? Can you think of why Mohammed Hijab would want to debate Elon Musk, but not Andrew Wilson?
Yes, because Andrew Wilson would be a person who actually knows some stuff and studies it himself and debates things.
He's an experienced debater. You can tell. Elon is I think a genius. Just based on the things that he does and the things that he gets done. I do not think he would be a good debater. Yeah. I've seen him speak. I do not think he would be a good debater. Hijab knows this.
He might observe things and comment on things, but he would not be a debater who can talk about the ins and outs and the details of these different issues. Which is why Mohammed Hijab will, of course, reject a debate with Andrew Wilson, who would be, in comparison to Elon Musk, a master debater, and instead wants to challenge Elon Musk, who is not a master debater.
Yeah, and who, let's face it, there's a 0% chance is going to debate Hijab. So who is Hijab challenging? Someone who has no debate experience, would be a terrible debater, and is definitely not going to debate him. Meanwhile, an actual experienced debater on a huge platform who would know significantly more about Elon and the offers on the table, and 100% chance that debate would go through if Hijab agrees. Hijab wants nothing to do with it, and he's calling other people cowards and so on. Let me just show one more tweet from Elon. There are tons of these, but this is from Carl Benjamin, formerly known as Sargon of Akkad. And look at this, because this is very interesting here. So Carl Benjamin says, left-wing media have been rape gang deniers for years. Look at these headlines. Because we've been focusing on like the reaction of police and the government and so on. Look at how they have dismissed concerns. So look at these headlines from journalists, from the media. We'll just look through these real quick. A new Home Office report admits grooming gangs are not a Muslim problem. There you have it. They're telling you it's not an issue. The study finds no credible evidence for a far-right stereotype that has spread widely in the media. It's just a stereotype. UK's racist dog whistle, below that, UK's racist dog whistle politics vilifies British and Pakistani Muslims. Rape and grooming gangs, how Islamophobic sex crimes propaganda fuels the far right. See, it's a far right issue. It's the far right who are concerned about, these girls not being brutally gang raped and so on. Down at the bottom there, NSPCC warns against framing grooming gangs problem as ethnicity-based. So don't mention the ethnicity unless you just want to call them Asian. So next row over, Suella Braverman, UK Pakistani grooming claim misleading, says press regulator. Down below that, child sexual abuse survivors' experiences must not be weaponized for racist agendas. You're racist if you're bringing this up. Why we still can't shake, right there in the middle, why we still can't shake the harmful myth of Asian grooming gangs. It's a myth. Why we can't shake this myth. All these girls they're just, it's all in their minds. Fear of racism isn't to blame for the police's failures to stop grooming gangs. They fail abuse victims across all kinds of cases. Below that, failing victims, fueling hate, challenging the harms of the Muslim grooming gangs narrative. You got to do something about this narrative. Up at the top there, towards the right, we're told 84% of grooming gangs are Asian, but where's the evidence? In the upper right corner, grooming gangs dismantling Braverman and Sunak's racist narrative. It's a racist narrative. You see this? This is how journalists reacted when reports would come out against about the grooming gangs. This is all racist. It's far right. You're far right if you have a problem with this. And they use that to silence people so that it continues happening and so that the criminals are not prosecuted. But look at this. So Carl Benjamin says left-wing media have been rape gang deniers for years. And then Elon says, true, but why? And then people would respond, of course, because these guys, because you have massive problems with some of these guys being pedophiles too. But anyway, that's what's been going on. So that's Elon. That's what we just went through, guys. That's a tip of the iceberg. Tip of the iceberg. Elon has been blasting away relentlessly, day in, day out, and so on. But fortunately for Muslims everywhere, we've got Mohammed Hijab responding. Let's go through some of Mohammed Hijab's tactically brilliant responses, everyone. Go through these rapid fire. Mohammed Hijab says, if your issue with Muslims, instead of hiding behind Tommy Robinson, if your issue is with Muslims, instead of hiding behind Tommy Robinson, why don't you engage the Muslim community directly? Instead of just tweeting on your platform. The far right and their political allies have successfully revived attention to the Rochdale grooming gang case. Guys, it's 41 known towns where the grooming gangs were operating. He acts like it's just this one place. An incident that began over 13 years ago as a calculated distraction from the atrocities they currently support. A genocide claiming the lives of tens of thousands of women and children. You catch that? Why are people talking about these grooming gangs right now? Because they're trying to distract attention from the genocide. How can the West, here you go, how can the West claim any moral high ground when the Israeli bombardment of Palestinians, supported by its own powers, has unleashed more death and devastation than all grooming cases and terrorist acts by Western Muslims in history? Think about what he's saying right here. People are saying, how are Pakistani Muslims able to get away with all this rape and gang rape and hijab? But what moral high ground do you have to stand on when Israel is bombarding Palestinians? Why is Israel bombarding Palestine? Because Hamas came in and raped and killed a bunch of people, took a bunch of hostages and so on. And so if you actually say, hey, Israel has a right to go find the people who did this and to find their hostages, you cannot object. According to Mohammed Hijab, you have no right to object to 12-year-old girls being groomed, drugged, raped, gang raped, pimped, beaten, tortured, and sometimes killed. This is the thinking of this tactical genius, Mohammed Hijab. Smart, right, guys? Hey, you think that Israel has the right to get its hostages back and to take out a terrorist organization that lost a terrorist attack? If you believe that, you cannot object to 12-year-old girls being gang raped by hundreds of men. So here Elon said, rape of British girls on a genocidal scale. Why not hop into that electric Mazda you like to call a Tesla? Drive your Cybertruck of a body to the nearest library and immerse yourself in some academic research on grooming gangs and their alleged connections to Asians, Pakistanis, or Muslims. What do you say of that, the white liberal Westerners who groomed your son to cut off his penis and cut ties with you? Do you think this would be probable in a Muslim country? Here it's I don't know the background of this. I've heard stuff like this before. I think one of his kids was manipulated into being trans or something like this, and
yeah, one of his kids, his boy, I think Xavier or something, is turned transgender and now identifies as a girl. Mm-hmm. And he talked about this publicly several times and basically said that. That the woke mind virus killed his son, and things like that. So this is what he's on about.
So think about this. What Hijab just said a moment ago is, if you believe that Israel has a right to respond to a huge terrorist attack, then you have no moral standing. You have no moral ground for saying that 12-year-old girls shouldn't be gang raped. You have no right to say that. What's he saying here? Hey, Elon Musk, people groomed your son. How can you complain about Islam? People groom you. You have no right to complain about grooming gangs, Elon, because someone groomed your son and cut off his penis and cut ties with you. He's not going to stop there, ladies and gentlemen. Mohammed Hijab says, full public inquiry. Are you allowed to condemn Jewish Jeffrey Epstein? Have you ever been to the island? So now he's showing what all these other people did. Elon, like every other rich person in the world, had at some point a picture with, what's her name? Ghislaine, something like that.
Not Ghislaine. I think it's
Ghislaine. Maxwell or something like that. Everyone has a picture. And again, to Pierce's credit, when someone tried to do this on the show, did you know that Elon had the picture with her? Pierce was like, I have a picture with her. I met her for 5 minutes at some event years ago. And now 20 times a day, I have to hear that I'm part of Epstein's Island. And so Hijab is going to do the same thing. Does everyone notice? What's he doing? He's looking for the weak spot. He's looking for where he can get a reaction. This is what they do. This is what a manipulator does. He's looking for a weakness, looking for something where, how dare you say this? Ah! And then this is the weak spot. Mohammed Hijab. Now it's stop meddling in the UK system. This below this was a Forbes article about Elon meddling in the UK legal system. As a foreigner with minimal understanding of it or the political landscape, your amateur mistakes resemble errors that would embarrass even an 11-year-old schoolboy. Don't say schoolgirl, because all your readers might get turned on. Mohammed Hijab. But what's he doing? He's going from point to point. Now it's Elon, since you don't understand British politics, keep your mouth shut about the government covering up this mass rape scandal. Just keep your mouth shut about it.
Yeah, that's basically what he's saying. It's like, I mean, just read that kind of stuff. What he's basically saying is, hey, Elon, you are disturbing us by talking about the grooming gang crisis, which is dominated by Muslim groups and which people here in the United Kingdom have been suppressing for a while successfully. You are bringing all of this up again and are forcing people to talk about this, which makes us Muslims very, very uncomfortable. So stop doing that so we can return to suppressing it again.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And once again, guys, as Muslims, if you really don't believe these guys have anything to do with Islam, how easy would it be to say, thank you, Elon, for exposing these guys who claim to be Muslims but are against the teachings of Islam. And we're going to join you in exposing them, and we're going to show from the Muslim sources that all of this has nothing to do with Islam. How different. Instead, it's shut up. And let me try 10 different ways of making you shut up about this. They're doing the exact same thing everyone else does, trying to quiet it down and trying to keep people from talking about it. So here Hijab says, while Muslims may stand in stark opposition to the views of figures like Jordan B. Peterson. This is the other thing they do. AP, how many times have you seen this? Why can't you be good like this other person and not bad like yourself? Yeah. They even did that with you and me recently. Came on there, he's like, AP, why can't you be nice and respectful like David would? I almost fell out of my chair laughing. As they do this to me for years. David, why can't you be like James White? Matter of fact, Hijab did this. Why can't you be like James White and William Lane Craig? And what's he saying right there? Why do you have to be the guy who's blasting away at our sources and making fun of Muhammad? Why can't you be like these other guys who aren't doing that? And what's Mohammed Hijab? Guys, they use the exact same tactics over and over and over again. They have nothing else. Once you can see through these tactics, you are immune to this dawah idiocy. But what's he say? While Muslims may stand in stark opposition to the views of figures like Jordan Peterson and Piers Morgan, one cannot deny their willingness to confront dissenting perspectives head on, a quality that demands a measure of respect. Now, why would Jordan Peterson and Piers Morgan be open to having these discussions? Because that's what they do. Piers Morgan that's what Piers Morgan does on his show. He has a show over and over again, and he talks about these things. What does Jordan Peterson do? He has tons and tons of conversations. Is that what Elon does? No, he goes in for interviews and stuff, but he does other things. This is like down the list of the things that he does. He's CEO of multiple companies and so on. But watch, Hijab is, look, Jordan Peterson and Piers Morgan, they actually have discussions with us. In sharp contrast, Elon Musk, for all his wealth and influence, increasingly appears to embody the very essence of cowardice. Why? Because he's not debating Mohammed Hijab. He seems content to cocoon himself within the comfort of his echo chamber, avoiding even a single substantive engagement with leading voices from opposing ideological camps. Hijab, he posts tweets, and you do the exact same thing. How is he living in a cocoon? He posts tweets to which anyone can respond, disagree with him, expose him. How is that hiding in an echo chamber or in a cocoon? If he, put it this way, if he's in an echo chamber in a cocoon, so are you, because you do the exact same thing. And when you got challenged to debate it, you refused. And yet you call Elon a coward for refusing to debate it when you refuse to debate it, which would make you, according to your own principle, a what? A big fat coward. Here Hijab says, Elon Musk is losing it. Clearly the pressure is getting to him. Next time, don't dish it out if you can't take it. And why? It's because someone said Elon Musk is rapidly becoming the largest spreader of disinformation in human history, hijacking political debates in the process. The EU must take action. The EU must stop Elon for his tweets. He's commenting on politics in other countries like everyone else does on Twitter, but he's not allowed. And Elon responded, F you, retard. He did that as a joke to show how people respond. And according to Hijab, this isn't just a funny joke by Elon. He's losing it. Clearly the pressure is getting to him. He can't take it. Don't dish it out. What a freaking dope, man. My goodness. Hey, here we have Mohammed Hijab reposting Sajid Lippam. So Sajid Lippam, Elon Musk openly inciting America to overthrow a foreign government, yet Muslims are the problem? Unbelievable. And Sajid and Mohammed Hijab have been going at it for a long time. Good to see some unity in the Ummah for once, because we do not see much of it. And now we've got Sajid and Mohammed Hijab finally agreeing on something and not attacking each other. They agree that Elon Musk must be stopped because, oh my goodness, guys, if you're worried because he spent a couple of days tweeting in 2025 about the grooming gangs, if you guys are in panic mode over this, it's going to be a fun year. Here we have Hijab again. I'm sorry to say, but you couldn't protect your boy despite being a billionaire. AP, look at this one.
Your boy.
I'm sorry to say, but you couldn't protect. So this is Elon Musk saying that we have to protect little girls. He's responding. Hijab is responding to the idea that we should protect little girls from gang rape. Hijab responds and says, I'm sorry to say, but you couldn't protect your boy despite being a billionaire. Now think about this. If you couldn't protect your son from transitioning, you couldn't stop it. Now, Hijab's rule is if you couldn't protect your son despite being a billionaire, then you should never try to protect little girls who are being gang raped. Like, guy, what's amazing is look at this. 5,800 likes, 5,800 likes. Guys, this is insanely stupid reasoning. If you couldn't protect one person, you couldn't protect anyone else. Mohammed Hijab, guess what? Your prophet couldn't protect his sons from dying. And I'm not saying that as a criticism. I couldn't protect one of my sons from dying. I couldn't do it. All my efforts. Does that mean I should never protect anyone again or ever care about anyone? Is that what it means? Does the fact that your prophet, in spite of being a prophet, couldn't protect his sons from dying, does that mean that your prophet should never care about or protect anyone else? In other words, do you believe in what you're saying right now? No, you don't. You're saying it because you know your followers are idiots who will like anything you say, no matter how insane, no matter how hypocritical, no matter how stupid, they'll just like it because they're that desperate. And they're in a panic mode because they're being exposed for supporting the stuff that the grooming gangs have done.
Well, but the thing is, he's sorry to say it, so...
Yeah, he is sorry to say, you couldn't protect your boy, therefore protect no one ever. Stupid. Guess what, Hijab? There is not one person in this world who's been able to protect everyone. Does that mean they should all protect no one? You stupid giant clown.
Well, to be fair, if Elon Musk's son was in Afghanistan or Pakistan, he would probably end up being some old man's little sex toy or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mohammed Hijab says, Elon Musk laments Muslim grooming gangs from years ago, yet fervently supports those behind thousands of child deaths in Gaza. AP, who is behind the child deaths in Gaza? Who's really behind it?
The child deaths in Gaza, Hamas.
Hamas is that is Hamas's fault. Why, Hijab? And by the way, Hijab, that was Hamas's plan. That's the entire plan. We'll go over, we'll kill a bunch of Jews, kill over 1,000 Jews, take a bunch of hostages. We'll run and hide in tunnels, leave the women and children up above us as we hide in tunnels. And then kids die. And you say, oh, whose fault is this? And so Hijab's reasoning is, since Elon supports Israel's right to go back and get their hostages and to punish people who are using women and children as human shields, therefore, he is not allowed to be concerned about victims of Muslim grooming gangs. Guys, everything Hijab tweets, what is it? What is the purpose? Silencing people. Doing the same thing that the British politicians, the same thing that the British journalists, the entire goal is silencing someone. The issue is he doesn't know why you see Hijab taking so many different angles here. He doesn't know how to silence Elon. He doesn't know. Keep in mind, silence, you're not saying like fully like put a gag in his mouth or something like that. What you're saying is you're trying to make him uncomfortable. You're trying to make Elon uncomfortable so that he associates, in his mind, it's associated, hey, every time I criticize grooming gangs, these guys talk about my son, or these guys talk about my father, or these guys say I'm inconsistent here, or these guys make fun of me for that, or these guys call me out for this, or these guys post a picture of me and Epstein's bottom bee. And he doesn't know what is going to make Elon uncomfortable, so he goes down, he puts together a mental list and tries everything. He's looking for what works. Guess what, Hijab? None of this is going to work. Elon Musk, please don't give us your life story. Muslims of the West get married. Oh, now we have this starting. Muslims of the West get married and have many kids. Try and aim for 5 minimum. That is what the fragile far-right anti-Muslims hate the most. If any Jew said, hey guys, let's take over more land. Let's keep having kids until our population is booming and we'll take over more stuff. He would say, look how evil they are. But it's what he's saying. Mohammed Hijab, you do your thing. He's responding to someone. You do your thing. Increase your homosexual and transgender populations. We do ours, taking over the human population. You guys catch this? He says, you do your thing. Increase your homosexual and transgender populations. We do ours, taking over the human population. If a Jew said, we're going to take over the human population, Hijab would be losing his mind. Mohammed Hijab, now he has his advice. He's doing some math. If we increase our birth rates, Muslims can be assured to be 10% of Britain and 20% of France. In 2050, despite any policy changes in immigration, we are not the Zionist lobby. Our strength is not in our ability to influence politicians. Our strength is in numbers. Our strength is in our numbers. It's a job saying, have tons of babies so we can take over the population. Here Hijab says, when are you going to condemn your incestuous father, Elon Musk? Did he groom Jenna? You see that? You see it? Now he's going after his father. So I think he shares it. He shares it at some point. He mentions this in the video. So here he's talking about Elon Musk's father apparently had a stepdaughter and then had a relationship with the stepdaughter. And so Hijab is blasting him for this.
That sounds funny.
Yeah. We're going to have more to say about this. Want to get more details here. Mohammed Hijab, Elon, instead of retweeting in pathetic passive aggression, why don't you be a man and engage in debate with those who disagree with you? Hijab, Andrew Wilson disagrees with you, and Pierce Morgan asked you to debate the grooming gangs issue with Andrew Wilson. You refused. What does that make you? You're not a man. You said, if you're a man, you will engage in debate with those who disagree with you. You're not a man, according to yourself. Hey, here he retweets Myron Gaines. Myron Gaines says, let's call a spade a spade. This random interest by Elon Musk in a decade-old problem in the UK and Tommy Robinson is a diversion to keep attention away from the fact he's silencing dissidents of the H-1B visa controversy and anti-Zionist views. We aren't stupid. to be clear, Myron, yes, you are stupid. Someone changed the O to a Y in your name. Moron Gains. But that'd be a good like weightlifting channel, Moron Gains, and you like go in there and you like do every exercise wrong because you're an idiot.
You should also note that this is not even his real name. He calls himself Myron Gaines because he's kind of embarrassed with his real name, which is Amru Fudl.
Nice. So here, some of the Muslims are puzzled. Why is Elon randomly talking about this? It must be because he's trying to distract from something else. I don't know. I still don't know why they can't like figure out what motivates people, what people's likes and dislikes are, what people's personality types are. In case people haven't noticed, Elon doesn't like it when someone who shouldn't be silencing someone has the ability to and silences someone else. In fact, if you guys recall, that's why he bought Twitter. The main thing, something will set him off. Something will set him off. With Twitter, it was Twitter silencing. It was Twitter shutting down the Babylon Bee. And he responded by saying, should I just buy this company and bring them back? And everyone said, yes, please do it. Please do it. He looked at that and said, wait a minute. These guys did nothing except express their view on and make a joke about a transgender general or something like this. And they got shut down. And this guy starts toying with the idea, should I do something about this? In other words, here's something that keeps coming up with Elon. He'll basically say, wait a minute, you have these people who are in a position of power, and they're actually able to control the ability of these other people to say what they want. And I don't like it, but and like the Babylon Bee, they can't do anything about it. There's nothing the Babylon Bee could not buy Twitter. The Babylon Bee could not make Twitter reinstate them. The Babylon Bee couldn't do it. And he's looking at that, but going, but I can actually fix that. Now, you know what? I'm going to fix it. And here, Myron, in case you're wondering, it's not that he just thought up the grooming gang issues again. It's because people are talking about Tommy, asking why is he locked up. The British government locking up Tommy caused the issue of the grooming gangs to resurface because people keep pointing out why are journalists and politicians so hostile towards Tommy Robinson? It's because he exposed them all for the grooming gangs. People keep pointing that out. And what did Elon do? He said, hey, free Tommy. This made everyone flip out. So he starts posting about the grooming gangs. And you go, let's call a spade a spade. It's because of this. Oh, because you guys, not you, Myron, I mean, people on your side, actually brought the issue to the surface again. And Elon's rolling with it. But here, it's the same thing. The situation with Tommy is the same situation with the Babylon Bee. Here's someone who's trying to do something, even something good, and he gets stopped by people more powerful than he is, and they actually throw him in prison. And Elon's looking at this. You know what? I don't like that. Who's doing this? Oh, the government. Well, let me start calling them out because he has the ability to do it, and he's doing it. So that's what you need to realize you're dealing with. You're dealing with a guy. AP, check this out. Check out how, insanely stupid Hijab is. He's dealing with a guy who, one, does not like being silenced. Two, doesn't like it when other people try to silence someone else. And what does Hijab spend every waking moment doing for the past week and a half? Trying to silence him. Are you stupid? The one thing the guy likes least on the planet is some idiot trying to silence someone else and having the ability to silence someone else. And Hijab is, let me try these 47 different ways to silence Elon Musk. That will get him on my side, or at least make him be quiet. Are you stupid? Are you this stupid? The one thing that the guy dislikes most in the world, and that's exactly what you try to do to him repeatedly. What a dope. Here you have Mohammed Hijab reposting, Umar, I swear by God, we were planning a $15 million purchase of Tesla solar roof and industrial batteries. This was part of one of our real estate projects because of Elon Musk's latest racism. What's the racism? He's calling out grooming gangs? Why are you guys associating that with race? We completely canceled this plan to integrate Tesla solar products. We also canceled. We also can't. Elon's going to go broke now. We also canceled the Tesla integrations for 9 other planned developments over 7 years. Why you guys got so much money? This would have brought Tesla over $100 million in new business over just 7 years. You guys have $100 million? Some serious cash. That's good to know. It's good to know where your zakat money's going, everybody. Now, what is this? Guys, why is Mohammed Hijab reposting this? What's he doing? Looking for ways to silence Elon. What's he doing? Maybe money is the key. Maybe threatening his income and saying, we're not going to buy your products anymore. Maybe that's the key. He's fishing for weakness. On one hand, they condemn Islam for imposing strict punishments on... This is when Hijab starts changing his tune to saying, actually, Muslims are better at dealing with groomers. On one hand, they condemn Islam for imposing strict punishments on the acts of intimacy outside the bonds of marriage. On the other, they paradoxically claim it to be the primary inspiration of those who indulge in precisely such behavior. AP.
Yes.
Does Islam impose strict and does Hijab know this? Does Islam impose strict punishments on anyone who has sex outside the bounds of marriage? Are the bounds of marriage the only way, is being within the bounds of marriage the only way you're allowed to have sex with someone, as Mohammed Hijab just said?
No.
No? Who else can you have sex with?
Well, you can have sex with your slaves. You can have sex with your captives in war, for example. So you can basically rape your captives in such an environment.
Huh. So these non-Muslim girls and women that you capture and make into your sex slaves, you can have sex with them, and that's perfectly legitimate in Islam?
Sure, yeah.
Huh, that's interesting. Because Mohammed Hijab just said, it's weird that you guys complain about Islam when according to Islam, you can only have sex within the bounds of marriage. Does he know that is a lie?
Yes.
Of 100%, ladies and gentlemen, 100% he knows he's lying. This is who you're dealing with. But he's fortunately for him, he's trying to change the discussion to, since nothing is working with Elon, he's trying to change it to, but Muslims would be better at dealing with the grooming gangs. Look at here. Hypothetically, under a system governed by Sharia law, punishments for grooming offenses could range from public lashing to capital punishment in the most severe cases. Quick question, Hijab. How would a 12-year-old non-Muslim girl, if the system were Sharia, does he know this? If the system were Sharia and a 12-year-old girl, non-Muslim girl, walks up and says, those 4 Muslim men just gang raped me, who are the police and the courts going to believe? What would this girl be required to show as proof that she had been gang raped? She would need the testimony of 4 male Muslim witnesses. And she says, but there were 4 witnesses. Those are the guys who raped me. What would the police say? I'll tell you exactly what the police say. And this isn't hypothetical. He's hypothetically. No, we don't have to go hypothetical because it happens over and over again. Look at Pakistan. Most of the women who are in prison in Pakistan are there for being raped. They got raped. Some of them got pregnant, and so it couldn't be covered up and so on, because you don't want to go to the police. If you're a rape victim in Pakistan, you don't want to go to the police, because if you go to the police, you're going to say, this guy raped me. And they're going to say, where's all your witnesses? You're required to have 4 witnesses. And she's going to say, I don't have any. He just raped me. And they're going to say, well, we can't charge him because he hasn't admitted to anything and you don't have your witnesses, but you've just admitted that you had sex and you're pregnant or whatever, so therefore you're going to prison. That's what they do. This is Sharia. That's Hijab, and you know it. You know that a 12-year-old non-Muslim girl would have no standing in the presence of her gang raper, of Muslim gang rapists who did this to her, and say she's lying. She would be the one who gets locked up. She would go to prison, where she would also be raped by the guards and the administration. We don't want your garbage system. What's up?
You know what's funny?
I don't find this funny.
That Muslim organization that was saying we were going to make a $15 million purchase, but now we are not going to do it.
It's the end of Elon. He's going to be poor.
Threatening Elon Musk with a $15 million purchase it's like threatening me with a $1 purchase or something.
Yeah. Elon should have responded, I wiped my rear end with $15 million. He should have actually done it. He you know what he should have done? He should have made a video and just been like, okay, you think I'm worried about $15 million? Here's a pile of $15 million and just set it ablaze. while smoking a cigar that he lights from the blaze of money. That'd be funny. So here's Hijab saying, oh, Islam would actually be better for the population. Yeah. And that may work for idiots, Hijab, like your followers. It doesn't work for those of us who know a little bit more about Sharia than your stupid clown followers. And here he says, sorry to say, but after what us law-abiding Muslims have had to endure in Britain, this guy walks around, we're going to humiliate you, we're going to do post-Sharia, we're going to bang little girls all day. And after what us law-abiding Muslims... What's he doing now, guys? Victim status. I'm a victim, I help, I'm being oppressed. What does it take? This guy is using every manipulation tactic he can come up with, and none of it's working. Look at this, 22,000 likes. Us poor Muslims, us poor law-abiding Muslims. Sorry to say, but after what us law-abiding Muslims have had to endure in Britain, namely being able to go around gang-raping little girls while the government protects us, if a Muslim does engage in grooming, we will humiliate him so severely that even the extremists on the right wing will think we have taken it too far.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, when are we going to see this, Mohammed Hijab? You've had thousands of these groomers. You've had some of them go to prison, then get back out. Where are these guys? Tell us, Mohammed Hijab, where are these guys in trouble from the Muslim community? Where is the Muslim community punishing these guys? Do these guys get out of prison and the Muslim community just there to just beat the crap out of them? When the Muslim community finds out that these guys are rapists, does the Muslim community gather around and beat these guys senseless? Where? Show us one. Show us one example, Hijab. What a joke, man. Now, Islam we're the ones who really stop the groomers. Where? Where do you do this? You liar, and you know you're lying. Lying idiot. Here we have two from Hijab. In order to destroy this narrative, for any Muslim reading this post, please like this tweet and comment on this post. You condemn grooming committed by Muslims or anyone else. Look at this, AP. Look at this. This is hilarious. So he posted a tweet saying, for any Muslim reading this post, please like this tweet and comment on this post. You condemn grooming committed by Muslims or anyone else. And so you had a bunch of people tweeting, yes, we condemn grooming. And then what does he say? What's his reaction? Kudos to the Muslim community for mobilizing and creating an unparalleled demonstration of our collective stand against grooming in all its forms. The narrative of Muslim acquiescence or even defense is now more indefensible than ever. Think about this, everyone. He's saying that some Muslims on demand tweeting, yes, we condemn grooming. That is the biggest, most unparalleled demonstration of the Muslims, of Islam's collective stand against grooming gangs. That's the unparalleled. That's your biggest demonstration. You guys have been marching through the streets of major cities around the world, flipping out about Israel for over a year, and for way before that as well. That's what happens when you guys are actually bothered by something. And here, after decades of this grooming, you say, oh, we will condemn it in a tweet. And they say, yes, we condemn it in a tweet. And you see, this is unparalleled. This is your biggest response ever, a tweet? Your biggest response to condemn the grooming gangs has been a tweet. Not marches, not burning places to the ground, not flipping out, not going and hunting down the groomers, none of that. Just a tweet. This is the biggest thing ever. Hijab, I don't know if you know this, but we learn about you by how seriously you react to things. What do? Israel does something. You guys are ready to burn the world to the ground over it. Globalize the Intifada! Globalize! Tens of thousands of you marching around the world. Then there's a terrorist attack. Oh yeah, we condemned the terrorist attack in a tweet.
Whoa!
You see this unparalleled response. It boggles the mind. How can we make it any more clear that we don't really care and we're just saying it? We're just saying it so that we can say we said it.
Amazing. Wow.
This is the problem, Hijab. We don't believe you. We see your behavior. What did you just do? You just tried to silence everyone about the grooming gangs. When you saw it didn't work, now it's, okay, we'll condemn it in a tweet. And we'll show that we don't actually care. It's not something that gets us really upset. If we were upset, we would be marching. There's no circumstances where we're going to be going out and doing this. We don't actually care. We're just pretending we do. And the only strength we can muster is to put out a tweet. This is the problem, Hijab. And here you go. A religion which preaches that you cannot so much as touch a he said non-permissible female, hoping that his non-Muslim viewers will interpret that to mean anyone you're not married to. Wrong, naughty. A religion which preaches that you cannot so much as touch a non-permissible female. AP, are your captives and slave girls that you seize from the unbelievers non-permissible females?
No.
Nope. But he pretends it does because he's a liar. Like his prophet, like his God.
Fight the enemy and take the women, the children, the wives of the unbelievers, of the non-Muslims, and they are permitted to you. You can rape them. You can also, under normal Islamic circumstances, just buy a slave that is already a slave and just start raping.
A religion which preaches that you cannot so much as touch a non-permissible female. Your sex slaves are not non-permissible females, you lying scumbag.
It should be like the Quran. You should say a religion which preaches that you cannot so much as touch a non-permissible female, except those your right hand possess, cannot be associated with grooming cases.
Yeah. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon him, said, for one of you to be stabbed in the head with an iron needle is better for him than that he should touch a woman who is not permissible for him. So make sure what the Quran says, guys. What the Quran says. Matter of fact, you know what? No. We could show it. We already went through it the other day. Surah 70, 22 through 30. Surah 23, verses 5 to 6. Who are the women that you can touch? Your wives and those whom your right hands possess, your captives and slave girls, the ones you've taken from the kuffar. That's what these guys view themselves as doing. We're just walking up and taking these girls from them. They're not defending them. That's on them.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. All right, we do have a short video from Hijab to watch because he posted a video about it. Take a couple super chats and we'll watch the video, and then we'll wrap up here.
Let's do that.
Thank you both for being defenders of women and girls. I am very grateful for your efforts. We do our small part. We are glad for people who were really able to get this issue exposed. PDF files should not be in society. That said, I usually agree with castration, but AP has some points. Just follow American prisons and give them gender reassignment surgery and have them live as a woman in prison. That'd be good. Good idea. You know what really, like, seriously sucks is there are so many of these guys locked up in prisons, and there are so many Muslims locked up in British prisons that these guys are fine when they go to prison. In fact, they're probably heroes when they walk into prison.
That's what they do.
If these guys were locked up in American prisons where it's not like this, they would have horrible, terrible lives. It would be a different kind of punishment for them. Sorry for weird spelling. YouTube doesn't like words. YouTube. Oh, we know. People have to come up with alternate spellings for things. Amongst this exposure, Channel 4 decided to air a repeat documentary about one girl who apparently made false claims that she was groomed. That is our mainstream media. Thank you for talking about this. So you had 250,000 victims. One said, nope, I made false claims about grooming. You see, it's all a lie.
Oh, how can you trust them?
According to some groiper out there, it was the Jews. D. Wood, I tried to talk about this and was called a crazy vet. Thanks for succeeding where I to my shame failed. That we know the feeling, Michael. We know what it's like to tell people and they don't listen. That's what AP was talking about a little earlier. You say this stuff for years and it feels like you're wasting your time. You get shouted down. No one listens. Everyone just calls you names and you think, is everyone even listening? Why am I even saying this if people aren't listening? And then you find out some people were listening, and now enough people have found out about it that can actually work. Sabatina James is also a person of interest, AP. Islamophobia is really the fear of repercussions for criticizing Islam. Most British people are Islamophobes. Pierce surely is, and Tommy isn't. That's the issue. The people who are terrified to say anything about Islam and who rush to defend it and come up with the stupidest ways of defending it Those are the real Islamophobes. They're terrified of being called names. There's a reason we don't have as many, if any at all, grooming gangs in the U.S., Canada, because we make Rocky Mountain oysters out of the perpetrators. Don't know if you know what that is. Look it up. You do have grooming gangs and so on in the U.S. and Canada, but if they get caught, they you hope in most cases the government will do something about it and so on. In Great Britain, the government, police, everyone protects them. The journalists, the main media organizations, the educators, everyone protects them. And if you go against what you're told, they'll lock you up. Thank you for your interview with Irfan. Is that Percy or Percy?
It's actually Petsy.
Petsy. Don't lie.
Yeah.
Jack Ray, AP. I'm your Huckleberry. Why Andrew Tate? Why Andrew Tate? You look like somebody just walked over your grave. AP, the modern tombstone Doc Holliday.
I don't even know what any of this means, but
you never saw the movie Tombstone.
No.
That's why you have gout.
Powerful.
One meaning, if you watch the movie Tombstone, your testosterone will increase so significantly that gout flees from your body in terror.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
One meaning of name Tate is he who talks too much. Yeah, should have kept his mouth shut. David Wood, I watched your Subway testimony vid, by the way. Thanks. Yep, that was a pretty dope video, if I do say so myself.
You made a video for Subway? I like this. I like this.
Oh, hey, look at this. Paige says, AP, Red Bull, worst thing for gout. God bless. Is that true?
Oh, thank you, Paige.
No, you might actually be consuming things. You should be paying attention to things that are not good for gout. That might be one of them.
No, thank you. I'll take that into consideration. The thing is, I mean, it's a very small thing, you know.
Being in horrible pain and not being able to continue? Or the Red Bull?
The Red Bull.
Get rid of the Red Bull. Look at a list of the worst things for gout and don't touch those. There's a strong argument to be made, though, that Jewish customs against proselytizing are a relatively new thing that came because of persecution.
True. But there was always
Jesus even referred to the Pharisees and so on who would who would go to win converts and so on like that, and then would mess those people up with their traditions.
But it was always after the second temple, destruction, after the fall of the second temple, it did emerge as a habit or as a tradition not to engage in discussions or things like that, but to just preserve the community. But persecution definitely added to that.
Fear Mark 666, do as the Amish, outside of buying and selling livestock and seeds not corrupted, get it from them, learn into power to break the chains of Babylon, obey angel that shout, get out of her. You now serve two masters when it should be one. Sven, I understood almost nothing of what you just said. I mean, I understood all the individual words, but not the thought. So sorry about that. It might be something I have to stare at for a while. In every generation, Muhammad reincarnates to set our example. In our age, it is clearly Andrew Tate. Yeah, I'm going to start proclaiming Andrew Tate like the best Muslim ever. You are right. Mo Hijab is a master debater. He is. AP, you suggested castration by Shoosting Squad. How about by pager? How about by pager?
It's slightly not dramatic enough, I would say. I mean, it's good for a large scale castration operation, but the shooting squad would be more deliberate and precise, and it would be a pleasure. I would
Castration by firing squad.
Yeah.
My Christian hubby had 10 kids. Good Christian.
Powerful.
That's good. Let's get it up to 12. Elon told Disney to go F yourself, but oh no, 15 million. Yeah. Perfect example. That's another example. I was talking about, like, if you wanted to identify the relevant characteristic for what you're trying to do. So this should be like 101. Mohammed Hijab, here's a guy doing something I don't like. I would like to change or modify his behavior. You only have one method for doing things, and that's just heap insults and abuse on him until he doesn't feel good about doing that anymore, right? And I've said repeatedly, you need to pay attention to what kind of person you're dealing with. This is 101, man. This is 101. This is manipulation 101. I pointed out how you could tell by Elon, by the things Elon has done, what kind of person he is. He's like, oh, they just shut down the Babylon Bee. You know what? Screw that. I will buy the freaking company and bring those guys back. He did that. He showed he does not like being control. He doesn't like these people having control over what other people can say. He's doing the same thing with Tommy Robinson. He's like, hey, this guy was shouting about the grooming gangs. They lock him up. I do not like that. I'm going to expose all these people. But that's another perfect example. He's at this big event for all these super, super rich billionaires and CEOs of all these big companies. What do? They come up to him privately and say, Elon, look, you're going to have to change some things. We want to shower you with advertising revenue for your company, but you're going to have to make some changes. He got up on stage in front of camera, called them out to their faces. So what, you guys think you're going to manipulate me with money? You're going to manipulate me with money? And he told the head of Disney, go F yourself. That's big. He called him out by name. Hey, Bob, go F yourself. You think you can control me with money? What? That's Disney money, ladies and gentlemen. That's Disney money. Disney wants to advertise their movies all over there, and they want to shower him with money, but they also have all the people say, no, you have to tell Elon to shut up and to make these rules and to go back to the way things were. And he said, go F yourselves. What is that? You're not controlling me with money. You're not controlling what I say with money. You're not controlling what I do with money. And what do the Muslims instantly do? Oh, well, now we're not going to buy your solar panels. This will change him. What kind of guy do you think? There are all these different ways you can control someone. All the different ways you guys have of controlling someone, you can look at Elon's track record. Those are not ways to control him. None of them. And what do? You have no plan B, so you just can't help yourself. You keep doing the same stupid thing over and over again. That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same stupid thing over again that doesn't work and expecting different results.
That's what they do.
Oh, boy. Amateurs. Thanks very much for all you do, brother. Yes, thank you, Jason Lane. Definitely not the Crown Prince. Mojab thinks he can win against the richest man in history who's backed by the most powerful man on earth. You should look into Mehdi Hassan's reactions. What do you mean, on Twitter or on the show? Or to Elon? Would be interesting. It is funny though. It's Hijab talking down to this guy. And again, we're about to look at this little video before we head out. Here you have some advice, AP. Gout, avoid sugar. And C2H6. I used to know what that means. Add ginger, garlic, exercise. I used to.
Garlic exercise.
I had a biology degree. I had to take lots of chemistry and organic chemistry. Wow. Now I don't even know what that is. I feel ashamed and embarrassed. I felt sorry for Brits. Other way, they elect this. Mm-hmm. Yep. Thanks for talking about this. Yeah, bless you both. These are great times, and I hope you all are talking about this as well. It's very easy. By the way, look at what Elon does. He doesn't have to say a lot. He can just say wow and share something that's valid. Every one of you out there can do the exact same thing that Elon is doing. You won't have the same reach and so on. It does help, having 200 million followers and so on like that. Everyone can do their part. We're all working together in this against the people who don't want us doing this. Bull on the loose in the garden of Allah.
But the people.
Elon should buy Islam next. That would be funny. He's just he should buy the caliphate. That'd be funny. The wildfires in California were Palestinian. The angel Jibril pinned me down and told me this. And then he choked me. He did it. Okay, we actually got caught up on super chats. There were a lot today. Apparently everyone really, really loves Mohammed Hijab. But we got one more thing we're going to watch. That's Hijab's video that he posted. Hijab's video response that he posted. You ready for this, AP? Have you seen this, AP?
No.
Okay. You're in for a treat, buddy. You're in for a treat. Okay, here we go.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing? Many of you will know that I've been
We're great. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Let me back this up. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but when you greeted us, it was awesome.
Many of you will know that I've been engaging one Elon Musk.
Yeah, you've been doing a bang up job. Bang up job. Keep it up. Hijab. And quit changing your tactic and acting like Islam will just be better. We know that's idiotic nonsense. You haven't blasted Elon enough. You need to blast him more. Insult him more. Heap more abuse on him. Show him how strong the ummah is and that you will humiliate him into silence. He'll love that. He'll love that. And that will make him respect your community when you try to silence him, because that's what he appreciates most in life.
Who is an electric car salesman.
Oh, what's funny is Hijab is that he just tried.
Are you freaking kidding?
We're
You're trying to
saying
downplay Elon Musk, man.
Yeah, he insults him. This electric car salesman. He's the richest man in history. He's the CEO of SpaceX, the CEO of Tesla, and he owns the platform that you keep attacking him on. Oh,
I am a great scholar of Islam, while he is merely an electric car salesman.
I don't know if he says it here or if he said it on Twitter, and it's just not one of the ones I share. And he's like, "And you're a college dropout, a college dropout." He's so stupid. You college dropout. And he's acting like I'm insulting him and his stupid fans. Well, you're really putting Elon in his place by making Elon's going to be really uncomfortable with you calling him a college dropout. That's really going to hurt us. You know who else was? Bill Gates. Bill Gates also dropped out of college. These were guys who said, why am I doing this when I could go make billions of dollars over here? I went and made billions of dollars. Ha ha, those idiots. They have no credentials. I love this guy, man. Oh, gosh, why can't we have 10 more just like him? If we had 10 more people like Hijab, Islam would be cooked within the next 5 years. It would be done. It would be done. I got to back it up because this guy says too much good stuff.
Many of you will know that I've been engaging one Elon Musk, who is an electric car salesman, on Twitter. And this individual has jumped on the Tommy Robinson bandwagon, actually now unconditionally supporting him and posting some of his tweets online. This individual who has a very unusual and atypical family history.
You catch it? You catch it? What's he do going after the family? So what's he? I insult you. Ho ho! You're just an electric car salesman. And now let me talk about your family. This is what will work. I will talk about his family and insult his family. You've got to love this guy and how stupid he is. This is the worst tactician I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, he does the absolute dumbest thing you could do in this situation.
How about you get on your knees?
Oh, boy. Awesome.
Whose father was engaged in incestuous behavior with his stepdaughter, in fact.
Did he just call AP? I always get confused between daughter-in-law and stepdaughter and like the step and the in-law. What is it? A stepdaughter is not a blood relative, right?
No.
Okay. Everyone got that? Everyone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm looking at the chat right now. I always get confused by this. I have to actually think about it. What's the difference between stepdaughter, daughter-in-law? This what?
Yeah. He's a stepdaughter would be somebody that is not related to you.
Okay, so it's not a blood relative, but he calls it incestuous. That's what he did?
Yep.
Can we say, indisputably, that Prophet Muhammad was guilty of incest, following exactly what Muhammad Hijab just said, and that Muhammad was in an incestuous relationship?
In a way, yes.
Yeah, because Muhammad had an adopted son named Zayd, right? Muhammad had an adopted son named Zayd. Zayd married a woman named Zainab. Muhammad saw Zainab practically naked one day, was aroused by her. Zayd found out, divorced her. Muhammad married her. The wife of his own adopted son. So not a blood relative, although, well, she was a blood relative. She was his first cousin, so there's that. But So she's his first cousin. But so she's his first cousin. He marries her, but she was the wife of his own adopted son. She's a closer relative. She's an actual closer blood relative than Elon's stepdaughter was. I mean, Elon's dad's stepdaughter was. But Hijab called it incestuous, not a blood relative, but just because you have that relationship by marriage of a relative, therefore it's still incestuous. That means Muhammad's relationship with Zainab was incestuous in two ways, because again, first cousin. Everyone got that?
Yes.
So Mohammed Hijab just blasted his own child molesting fake prophet for being guilty of incest. What? Thank you, Mohammed Hijab, for giving us another reason to despise your fake prophet.
And his stepdaughter, people will not know this, Elon Musk, and this is on the record. The Business
It's on
Insider
Business
has an
Insider,
entire
guys.
Article on
Secret
this. Actually
information.
raised his stepdaughter from the age of 4 years old. Now he's
Hey, wait a minute. Is Hijab getting like dual Zabibas in there?
I think so.
Are those Zabibas? Has he been banging his head trying to figure this
No,
out?
this happens with some people with Muslims, especially those who really rub their forehead on the ground to try to make it as obvious as possible that they are very devout Muslims, so that everyone sees how devout they are. That they rub it so badly that their sides start getting like these marks. He's getting a big zabiba. This is just isn't it so ridiculous? I mean, you are supposed to engage in worship, but engaging in worship to him is just to rub it on the ground so much that everybody else sees how devout you are.
You see what good you think I'm me good? Me impress God, me impress you. See how devout I am. You see this? Yeah, me good. This me religion.
Brain cells.
Me smart.
Brain cells, you're finished.
Me super devout. Me me got concussion. This show, the more concussion. I got 7 concussions for praying to my God. Me not caveman.
I will destroy my brain cells.
What a religion.
Finished brain cells. Anyway.
Oh, boy. So, yes, he's talking about Elon's dad.
I know if I talk about his dad and shame him for his dad, then
He will keep his mouth shut. How many times have we seen this from Mohammed Hijab? He goes on and has a debate with Rabbi Shmuley. What's he?
your daughter works in a shop where she sells lubricants and sex toys. You see, now I will make fun of you for this.
Over and over again goes in a debate.
How can I attack this person's family? How can I insult this person's family?
Why? To make this person uncomfortable so that this person stops saying things I don't like. It's all an effort to silence people. So now he's going to silence Elon Musk by talking trash about his dad, even though Elon has the ability to amplify any critic of Islam on the planet that he wants to, especially all the victims of the grooming gangs and so on. But Elon can do that in a heartbeat. What does tactical genius Mohammed Hijab decide to do?
Let me insult him as much as possible and attack his family and insult his family and insult his transgendered son and insult his father and then accuse his family of being incestuous, and I will attack this and we'll threaten him with money and this will all work.
And then he can't figure out why it's not working.
You know what's so funny to me? As soon as he has a problem with somebody like Elon Musk, he starts going after these petty things that Elon Musk has nothing to do with, even, like in this case. However, if somebody is on his side, at this moment, so far, he's totally fine with them being a disgusting, horrible human being. Like, for example, he was the one who introduced Andrew Tate as convert to Islam, to his dear Muslim brothers. Did he sit down and say, and of course, we have to talk about how the fact that Elon Musk here, who converted to Islam, is currently being prosecuted for trafficking minors, multiple instances of rape, money laundering, attempting to influence witnesses, sex with minors, and so on. Did he do that? No, he didn't do it. Will he do that if Andrew Tate in the future ends up leaving Islam and bashing Muslims? Yes, he will do it. I guarantee you he will do it. He will start attacking Andrew Tate over all of these things, which he didn't complain for a second about when Andrew Tate was useful to the Muslims.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Gotta love that dual Zabiba. See, hey,
Dual Zabiba.
your Zabiba is going to be determined by the shape of your head. You know, if the front part of your head is the part that sticks out most, then you're going to get a Zabiba right in the middle. If you have a kind of indentation here, and this part sticks out more, then you're going to have the dueling Zabibas there. Those Zabibas will fight each other.
Did I just say that Elon Musk converted to Islam? That's not what I meant to say.
That is exactly what you meant. Stick with it.
I meant Andrew Tate. Oh.
No. Top E. All right, back to dueling Zabibas here.
About grooming gangs. And now
It's funny. That's when I say dueling Zabibas, that made me think of dueling banjos, which made me think of the movie Deliverance, which made me think of the grooming gang's behavior and stuff. Because it's funny because he's talking about incest here, and
that's what they do.
I just wonder whether Elon Musk himself has witnessed any grooming on the side of his father. Yes. On the side of his father, who's been potentially harmed.
You know what I'm wondering?
We need to ask those
You know what
questions.
I'm
We
wondering?
don't know what he's been doing.
I'm just wondering if Mohammed Hijab himself participated in the grooming gang activities, or if he witnessed some of them.
we're wondering if that's why he's trying to silence this.
Yeah, considering that lots of people in his circles were probably engaged or were evidently engaged in grooming gang activities and in the raping of British girls, I really wonder if Mohammed Hijab himself also raped some British girls.
1 second, real quick. Every once in a while, I'll see a comment that's so insanely stupid. Check this out. Andrew Czar. Hey, Andrew Czar. Andrew Czar says, wow, I love you guys. But do you realize? And that you're offending your base, right? First, Sam Shamoon going Catholic. Now you guys going left. What the hell is going on?
When did we go left?
Every once in a while, I will see a comment that is so outrageously stupid, I just click hide user on this channel because I do not want to interact with you. I do not want to respond to you. I'm going to do it right here just to give an example, but you can say something so insanely stupid that I'm just like, this is a person I never want to hear from again. Even if he's like, oh, I misunderstood. Don't care. You are so outrageously stupid.
You are very retarded. It's so funny because
now hang on. Here's a better comment. D. Wood's brain is a national treasure. There. Now that's how you're supposed to comment, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, go ahead.
This is why people should steal David's brain. Yeah.
Like the movie National Treasure 4, the stealing of David's brain.
The funny thing is, for a year now, or for more than a year, I have been hearing, "Oh, you have gone really far right, AP. What's wrong with you? You have become really right wing, far right. What's happening?" And then you have some guy here saying, "Why are you guys going left?" What? Who in the world are you?
Yeah, that's funny. Oh boy! All right, Hijabs, give us the power of your dueling Zabibas.
But what we do know is that he's engaged in incestuous action. So is this trauma speaking?
It was back.
Musk,
now he's accusing of first of all. Now Hijab knows this idiotic nonsense, right? He's just trying. He's fishing. He's fishing for weakness, looking for what the weakness is. But what he just said was maybe the reason Elon has a problem with the grooming gangs is because he has witnessed grooming in his own family. Suppose that were true. Why would that be? It would be bad that he witnessed grooming, but why would it be bad for someone to say, you know what, I witnessed grooming when I was a kid, and now that I'm the richest man in the world and I have a huge platform, I'm going to do something about grooming. Why would that be bad, Hijab? But why would you condemn that? Why would you mock someone for that? Supposing he had witnessed grooming and had witnessed it all his life. And then he got rich and very popular and said, you know what, I can do something about grooming. Why would that be bad? That's what everyone in that situation. If you have witnessed some horrible behavior or something like that when you're young and you get older and you get a position to do something about it, That's a great thing. There are people who have experienced horrible things and so on when they're young, and they grow up and they try to change it. They become police officers and so on. Why is that bad, Hijab? Why? Why would you mock him for that? That would be a good thing. If, in other words, if the reason that he's going after the grooming gangs is because of childhood trauma and he now wants to do something about it, that would be great. That would be awesome. And you're sitting here trying to insult and mock him for it as you're making things up. You're a disgusting, repulsive individual, and I'm glad you are the champion of the Ummah. You are the greatest.
I see what you're saying, but why do you have to go left, David?
I don't know. Why am I going so far left?
Been doing. But what we do know is that he's engaged in incestuous action. So is this trauma speaking?
Say, he says he knows that Elon's father has engaged in incestuous behavior. Again, with that exact same of incestuous behavior, Mohammed was more incestuous because he not only went for his stepdaughter or whatever you call it. She was also his first cousin, so she's a closer blood relative, and so Mohammed was incestuous.
Well, considering that Muhammad Hijab's hero, the Prophet Muhammad himself, engaged in pedophilia and had sex with a 9-year-old girl when he was at the age of 50-something, 53, 55. It is only I only want to ask the question. I can only wonder if Muhammad Hijab himself had sex with 9-year-old girls.
Mm-hmm. Yes, maybe that's why. Could that be the reason? We're just asking questions. But could that be the reason Hijab is so desperate to silence all critics of the grooming gangs and any investigation into what has happened to these young girls in all these towns? Hijab was in Great Britain, in a perfect spot. He's got the Zabibas.
Is it not quite likely? Muhammad Hijab himself also raped 9-year-old British girls.
Could it be? Could that be the reason? Could that be the reason? Could he be nervous? Is that why? Is that why he's so forceful in trying to silence any investigation into these crimes? Is it because he has partaken? Could Hijab have been part of the gang rapes of hundreds or even thousands of young British girls, and he's in a state of panic right now? Could this be? Hijab. That's what you do. What we just did. That's exactly what you do. How difficult is that? But anyway, let's go back.
Musk, is this trauma speaking from you, or is it something you witnessed, or have you been groomed yourself? These are all questions I think which are legitimate psychological questions.
Did you hear that?
People are going to be asking.
Have you been groomed? Did you hear that? Have you been groomed? Was perhaps Hijab when he was a little child? Could he have been a victim of these pedophiles? Because we know, could he have been one of the Bakabazi boys for the Afghan immigrants? In other words, Great Britain brings in some Afghan immigrants and so on. They love their Bakabazi boys. Could Hijab have been 5 or 6 years old, dancing around in a little skirt, all dressed up in makeup and so on? Could that be the reason he doesn't want to talk? And then could he have continued the cycle by grooming others, boys, girls? Could this be the place from which he speaks? Could this be the case? Could it be? We're just asking. We're just wondering why this. What kind of trauma? What kind of trauma is bringing this aggression against anyone who wants to investigate the grooming gangs? Anyone who wants to shine a light on this? Why would Hijab be so reluctant? What is the background trauma that his butthole experienced? are the Zabiba marks on Hijab's head from his head being pushed into the ground as he was bent over by numerous Afghan and Pakistani men? Isn't this disgusting to talk this way? That's what he just did with Elon. Has he been the victim of incestuous grooming by his father? That's what he's doing.
I would say that it might be more likely that he himself is a perpetrator of child molestation and the raping of little children. So it's all possible. I'm not saying that this is what happened. I'm just wondering. I mean, at this point, we have to ask questions, right?
We're just asking questions, Mohammed Hijab. We want to know who was banging which guys. You can show us on the doll, Mohammed Hijab. We'll have a counseling session, a trauma session. We'll meet with some social workers and so on, and we can pull out a doll, and you can show us on the doll what all these Pakistani and Afghani men did to your butt.
Yeah.
If that's what happened. We don't know. We don't know. We're just asking questions like you were just asking about where Elon's getting this trauma. After all, Elon must be traumatized. After all, he is calling out the government of Great Britain for covering up this grooming gang scandal and for protecting the rapists. And the only way anyone could want to protect 12-year-old girls from gangs of pedophiles gang raping them is if he had childhood trauma, right? It's the only way. Because other than that, there'd be no reason to do it, right, Hijab?
You are bringing up an interesting and very sick point, which is what Mohammed Hijab is doing here, and the behavior that he's introducing, the reaction he's introducing here is, if you are somebody who passionately speaks up for justice against rapists and speaks up for the victims of rape and of abuse, then could it be that this is just because you yourself have experienced those things, or maybe are guilty of these things? So he contributes to creating an environment where you would actually be shamed or questioned or suspected if you yourself speak up for victims. It's not funny at all, David.
I'm not laughing at what you said. I'm laughing at what I'm about to say and do. And I normally don't break. But I can't help it. Okay. Hijab, you're the goat. So show us on the goat what these Pakistani and Afghani men did to you. Okay. So this is Sigmund Freud.
Mm-hmm.
Sigmund Freud will represent of course, the trauma, but this is the embodiment of the trauma that you experienced from these Pakistani and Afghani groomers, if this is what happened. But we're asking questions. Why you would be so reluctant to shine a light on the grooming gangs unless you yourself have been a perpetrator and a victim. But so if you're the goat here, minding your own business, what did they do to you? What did they do? Show us on the doll. Show us on the doll. Show us on the... Something like that? Was it something like that? Point to where they touched you, Hijab. Was it here?
It's not funny.
Guys, we normally don't go this far. It's where he just went. We just want him to know. This is what you do. Any idiot could do this, Hijab. Any idiot on the planet. What is this? What's the source of this? Were you groomed and molested when you were a child? Is that where this is coming from? Oh, you could... Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You got to love Hijab, man. You make our work so easy.
Considering the overcompensatory behavior, the erratic meltdown type behavior that we are witnessing from you.
He's still doing it. Look, Elon said, "If you retard," making fun of a guy for how he responds. And you see, he's losing it. He's losing it. Hijab, you're the one losing it.
On Twitter, where you're telling this person F you, and you're telling this other person here, you're deleting your tweets sporadically, and I catch you out, and I catch you out again with your statistical errors, sociologically
And
inept,
I know you're
and
watching
you
it,
are
Elon.
academic.
Yes, and we know you're watching. You're watching this and you're panicking. You're in fear. This is why you're running, Elon. You're terrified.
I would be shocked if Elon has any clue who Mohammed Hijab is.
But he always acts like whoever he talks to is watching him and following very closely and listening to everything he's saying. I mean, it sounds like he's about to say, "And I know he has been watching, considering that he has been using some of my vernacular recently." For example, here.
Yes, he used this
hello.
word that I also know and that I also use. This is proof that he watches my stuff.
He says disturbing, which I also said in another instance, which just shows that he has been watching.
We're not making that. He did that. He said he found a video where Ben Shapiro used the word pusillanimous, and he's like, "I use that word. You see that we know you're watching." And he kept saying it. "We know you're watching my videos, Ben. We know you're watching because you use this word and I use that word."
The funny thing is that Ben Shapiro actually used it correctly. Mohammed
Yeah, Hijab doesn't. He uses it as a noun.
Stop being such a pusillanimous.
He doesn't even know basic grammar. What a dope. Oh gosh, we need 10 of these guys, ladies and gentlemen. 10. We need 10 Mohammed Hijabs. We can sit back and watch the show of the implosion of Islam. But more. Here we go.
From my understanding, you dropped out of university. That's understandable that you make mistakes like this. And
You hear that? You dropped out of university to become the richest man in history. This is why you make these mistakes. This is why you make these mistakes. He's insulting Elon for dropping out of college to go become the richest man in history.
You will always be a loser. I'm not a loser. You look,
I'm a winner. I have more degrees than you do.
What are you going to do with your life? You dropped out of college. You will lose. You will have nothing.
You're nothing.
That's another example with your daddy's nothing. He goes after his dad. That's what he did with Alex Jones when Alex Jones said something about Islam. Then what did Mohammed Hijab say?
What about your dad? Your dad is nothing. Your dad is nothing. Your dad. Well, your dad. Ha ha ha.
What a joke, man. This is dawah. This is what dawah has become. This is awesome. These are great times.
dropped out of university. That's understandable that you make mistakes like this. And I actually put that to you on a tweet, and then you deleted the initial.
It was because of you.
Response that you
it
had
was
to
because
that
of you, Hijab.
right-wing newspaper, yes. You deleted it because you realized that you were putting graphs up, or that they were putting graphs up without references. But anything to prove the point, anything to prove that it's Asians, yes, it's Muslims, it is Pakistanis who are to be scapegoated for all of the misery in the West.
What do you mean
scapegoat of Western civilization?
What do you mean scapegoated, man? What do you mean scapegoated? It is statistically proven that Pakistani Muslims are very, very much overrepresented among perpetrators of grooming gangs. Considering their percentage of the population, they're suspiciously high in dominating. I mean, you could say that they're not really achieving much and not standing out, but no, of course, they're standing out very, very, very well when it comes to the number of Pakistani Muslims who are perpetrators of rape and of grooming gangs. So this is a fact. It's not a scapegoat.
No, there's scapegoating, and it's Elon Musk because his dad banged a stepdaughter. You see, this is why he's traumatizing, because he dropped out of college. You see, I've humiliated him.
Good luck with this, Hijab. Please keep it up.
Which led to, in your understanding, the estrangement between you and your son or daughter. I don't know what it is, or she or he.
You see that? Now he's going after his son again. Everything. Let me go down the list. Let me go down the list. Here we go.
Which led to, in your understanding, the estrangement between you and your
What's he saying?
son
What
or
led to
daughter.
it? Let me back up.
Pakistanis who are to be scapegoated for all of the misery in the West and all of the failure of Western civilization, which led to, in your understanding, the estrangement between you and your son or daughter. I don't know what it is, or she or he or they. But
Now I understood the reasoning. He's saying that there are all these things going wrong in the West, and we have to scapegoat someone. So we scapegoat the Pakistanis. That's why Elon is blasting away at the Pakistanis and scapegoating them, because he's messed up because of what happened with his son. That is Hijab. This is dawah, guys. This is the biggest champion of dawah on the planet. This is how he investigates matters and tries to understand people and talks.
no problem. That's another thing. Obviously, your father's dysfunctional, your son is dysfunctional, your daughter's dysfunctional, I don't know who else is dysfunctional. I don't know if you're married or divorced, a failure of a family man, you're a Twitter junkie in 24 hours, you tweet 27 times, you're sitting there next to Donald Trump, you're tweeting 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. You have 250 billion, yeah? And instead of going in the private jet and taking that Cybertruck milk carton body...
Here he goes. Now he's making fun of his body. Now he's making fun of this picture from years ago.
Pretty sure he actually has like over 400 billion. I don't know.
Yeah, that skyrocketed after the value of his stocks rose. But here, what are we talking about, guys? Let me find everything to attack this guy, to make him as uncomfortable as possible, but not knowing what will get to him, So let me go after his dad. Let me go after his son. Let me go after his money. Let me make fun of his body. Let me call him dysfunctional. Let me call everything. Let me say that maybe he's a victim of grooming. He goes down. He dropped out of college. He's looking for the weakness, and now we're at look at this picture of you.
Yeah, And instead of going in the private jet and taking that Cybertruck milk carton body of yours and putting it under the sun to give yourself some texture, some color.
That picture was him out in the sun.
Yes. You're on Twitter all the time, putting your face to the screen. You're a junkie. Yes, junkie. That's why maybe you like Tommy Robinson, huh? Because he's a junkie as well. We know he's a cocaine junkie and he's a Twitter junkie and you're a junkie like him. You're a Twitter junkie. Akhi. I'm going to call you Akhi. You are a junkie.
Now I'm calling him a junkie. What's he calling him a junkie for? For making lots of tweets. He's saying you're a Twitter junkie.
What's Elon going to do after this? What's Elon going to do? Elon's going to be very, very upset about this. Elon's going to sit there and be like, what am I doing with my life? I'm not getting anything done. I'm not getting anywhere because all I'm doing is tweeting. I will always be a failure. I will never achieve it.
I can't believe I dropped out of college. This guy brought up all the troubles in the past and brought up what my dad did. I guess I just won't talk about the grooming gangs ever
if
again.
I didn't waste my time tweeting all the time, maybe I would be successful and rich.
I could have been somebody if I could just stay away from Twitter. I could have been somebody.
You freaking imbecile.
Oh my goodness! Isn't that funny though? Because Hijab will look for some way to attack a person. Like he'll look for it. But now he's talking to the richest man in the world, who's CEO of multiple companies. And, you're a college dropout. Oh, what a joke, man! What a joke. This is not one though.
Day, as if you're the CEO of Twitter, as if you're owning it, as if it was your product. How about you do something with your life, you weakling?
Little weakling. But this is where we're at. This is the epic debate between Elon Musk. Elon Musk saying, hey, guys, we need to call out the British government for not doing anything about this, for covering it up. We need to call out journalists, the BBC and so on, for covering this up. We need to seek justice for the girls, and we need to do something to stop this from ever happening again or from continuing to happen. And Hijab, look at this picture of your body. I've looked up your son. I've looked up your dad. I will retweet a Muslim saying they will not buy your solar panels. This is all to control you, even though any idiot manipulator could tell that the one way not to come at you is by trying to silence you, because that's the thing that pisses you off most in the entire world.
Oh, what are you going to do now? You see, you've been humiliated.
So this is the level of the debate. Elon's keeping at it, and Hijab is gonna. I'm guessing he's gonna. Hey, P, you know what's funny? It's the same dynamic as the war in Gaza, where you've got a massively powerful Israel. Absolutely crushing Hamas, and Hijab thinking that from the comfort of his Twitter page and his YouTube account, he can actually stop this. And I can stop this, and I will make sure that Hamas wins and they kill all the Jews and so on. Thinking that he's actually going to be able to pull that off. And yet, after 15, 16 months of going at it, has not helped a single person in Gaza, has not helped rescue a single person from the IDF. In other words, realizing that he is completely insignificant. At the end of the day, all he can do is impress a bunch of idiot followers who keep cheering him on, even though he is accomplishing absolutely nothing and is turning more people away from Islam, because all he does is insult everyone who disagrees with him. And then people look at him and go, whoa, what is this problem? What's going on here? So he's creating more enemies for the Ummah. And here he does it with Elon Musk. Could have taken this opportunity to make some allies or to get Elon on his side. Instead, no, the only thing I know how to do is heap insult and abuse on people and to attack their families. This is what I will do with Elon Musk. And what's he doing? It's not working. He's trying everything. That's a sucky feeling. It's like, okay, here are the 7 different ways I know how to manipulate people. Oops, I've tried them all. Nothing's making any sort of difference. Oh, but I still have my fans who think I'm making a difference because that's how stupid they are. And so that's enough for me. And that's a job in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome stuff.
Did you just call his fans stupid?
No, they're geniuses.
Okay.
I'm surprised they aren't the richest men in the world. All right, let's take these last super chats here. Can you ask AP where his Diddy grandpa hat went? Why is he not wearing it? He was wearing it on IP's stream.
I only wear it on IP stream because I want to wear it when I am there to sabotage a channel and to make it look bad. That was the entire purpose. Why would I do it here?
Good point. Good point. Brits have repeatedly elected politicians who promise to cut immigration. Electoral system also not proportionately representational. Yeah. Great Britain, I know you have a long-standing tradition and so on. You need to read, every person in Great Britain should read the Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Declaration of Independence. It wasn't even the U.S. then, but the Declaration of Independence everyone should be reading it right now. Over and over again, and realize you need to start over. You need to start over. Your system with your cute little adorable kings and queens and princes and so on, and your PMs, your system as your system doesn't work. Your system doesn't work.
Excuse me, are you joking? Are you really serious?
Is David Wood interfering in British politics?
I can't believe what I'm hearing right now.
What's it with Hijab's logic? John F. Kennedy was an office worker. Yes, this weakling little office worker. Hey, could you imagine him talking about JFK? Because JFK had some sort of a disease where he was kind of frail and so on. Ha, you little weakling. Why won't you show up to fight me? Why won't you show up to fight me in the octagon, JFK? What a loser. You may think you're impressing us by banging Marilyn Monroe, but that's nothing. That's nothing, you little weakling. You little office worker sitting in your Oval Office. Your little Oval Office.
Look at my chubby body compared to your frail appearance.
Look at me. Wasn't Khadija his cousin too? Distant cousin, not I don't think first cousin, distant cousin. Seriously, Hijab thinks like a caveman, lol. Yes, that is, and that's who he is appealing to.
That's pretty racist and Islamophobic.
A crack down the middle. He is literally a butthead with the dueling Zapifas. He's got a crack down the middle of his head. He's a butthead. Oh, man. No worry. Go 3 times left, right again. Yep, we'll just keep going. Me and AP are going so far left. We're going right. Watch if Jesus, Mo, and Buddha were judged by AI.
Muhammad would win because he's the one who banged his cousin.
Has Elon responded to Mojab? Not that I've seen. If Elon had responded to Hijab would be tweeting that everywhere, going,
"Look, you see, Elon is trembling. He's a weakling. He's a little weakling. He's terrified of the power of the Ummah, and all our banging little kids. We're so strong."
John the Pressbiter said, has Elon responded to Mojab? If not, calling that engaging with him is like saying the lady you're watching from the bushes is on a date with you. Yeah, that's exactly. Hijab thinking that Elon has any clue who he is like some stalker following a girl hiding in the bushes and
she's in love with me.
Yep.
AP goes live, 1.9 thousand viewers. D Wood, 3,200. Make up your own mind.
That's just how it is.
No, it kind of depends on the topic. If you put Elon Musk and Mohammed Hijab and you're going through that, kind of depends on the topic. In fact, I think we've had the most. We busted 4,000 on your channel before, right? Haven't we?
Yeah, we had like 4,800 or something. Mm-hmm. What's the peak?
That would have continued to rise, but that's when it got shut down, right? We've crossed 4,000 a couple times on your channel, but the one time was the other time, and it was shooting up, and then they child restricted it, and then you saw the numbers plummet.
Yeah, I guess it was kind of my fault as well. Like in the middle of a huge live stream where we got to 4,500, I showed graphic images, which then
that was your fault. No disagreement there. As soon as you put it up, I thought it would be afterwards, but it happened during the show. But I figured you were going to get child restricted.
Yeah.
But no, I think like probably the top 3 biggest live streams we ever had were all on AP's channel. So we must speak out for victims of abuse. Stop evil. That's right, Issa. You don't see Issa saying,
"No, everyone, stop talking about this. Stop talking about this."
It's because he's a secret Jew.
The psychological reason why Ho Blow Hijab acts like a baby is because he was introduced to baby oil from a very early age in the hindsight. It could be. We don't know. We're just asking questions, right? We don't know why he's so dead set against this being investigated. Marrying children is rape. There is a high rate of incest and female abuse in their culture. Kept secret abuses include female genital mutilation. As far as Mehdi, he is blaming Jews for fake grooming scandal. Oh, he's blaming we might have to go through that. He's blaming Jews for this fake grooming scandal. A fake grooming scandal. You heard it from Mehdi. He knows best. Does Hijab think he's all muscle with what he has? He's definitely not all muscle. That belly's been growing for years. Went to adoration, knelt for hours. Now I have a Zabniba. Imagine if Christians actually acted this. Yes, you see.
A Zabniba.
You see, we are so strong. I'm the best Christian ever.
You see. You see.
So many raped children in UK and not a single perp unalived by parents, not even badly harmed by a parent. Is UK castrated? Is it just me having Eastern European heritage, or is the West all like that? That is more so in the UK. If you had 250,000 girls in the US being taken advantage of by these guys, some people would have responded with violence, but people wouldn't even be stuck with that position because police are not as screwed up as they are in the UK. I mean, it sucks because, we look at the UK and we're like, man, we got all problems with our governments, with police, all kinds of things. But then we look at the UK and we're like, we got it good over here. We got it good. So yeah, that's the rough part.
There are lots of
Oh, go ahead.
Where you see that in the UK, where the police is confronted with some really, really violent, messed up people, and they're like shouting at them, wanting them to stop, and so on. In the US, if you had such a situation, the guy would be shot like 50 times already.
And yeah, if in the UK some dad did decide to go do something to protect his daughter, his daughter could be literally in the process of being gang raped by 5 dudes, and if a guy went in there with a baseball bat, he would go to jail. He would be locked up. He would be portrayed as this Islamophobic bigot who hates all brown people and so on. They would blast him, and then he'd be gone. He'd be out of the way, and then people just be gang raping his daughter until she's too old.
European people in general have a very Western European people in general have a very you could call it very civilized or very peaceful, but on the other hand also a very soft and very extremely tolerant, too patient attitude in response to provocations and violence and violations and all of that. And the thing is, that's good if you are going to just live among yourselves as Europeans. But if you are like that and you invite over people who are the opposite of this, it's not going to work. You are going to get crushed. And unfortunately, that's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. That's what they do. Now we just need Tate to call Elon a broke boy. No, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. Even Tate isn't that stupid. The reason, Tate clearly has been dying for Elon's attention. Elon, I'm coming. There was that time when he's like, "Hey, I got reinstated on Twitter. I'm gonna travel to the U.S. and go to Twitter and personally thank Elon." And it shows him on the plane. It shows him going the airport and stuff. And then no video of him ever meeting with Elon. Why? Because Elon's like, I don't care about this guy. And so he never got to personally thank Elon. In your opinion, what is the likely future of the term Islamophobia? It seems like many more folks are calling it out as BS and seeing through Islam. Yes, this seems to be the best time that we've seen so far for people not falling for,
but you're an Islamophobe because you don't want little girls to be gang raped.
People aren't buying it as much. It's still effective with certain stupid people, certain gullible people, but it is losing its effectiveness. It's going to get to the point where it's just like, it's like an insult to think you could, it's like an insult to someone's intelligence if you even think that mentioning this word could affect their behavior. It's going to be you're going to be a laughing stock. So Elon dropped out of college. He should get a degree in petroleum. You remember what that's from? I don't know if you're. We went through it. Jai and DOC helped expose. They were one of the people who exposed Mohammed Hijab's dad's scam. Keep in mind, we're talking about dads. He had his entire, they called it Cambridge and stuff, and he has all these courses. But among the different degrees, it says you can have a degree in petroleum. And it's funny because DOC, Daughter of Christ, she was responding. She goes, "Petroleum's a substance, not a field." Anyway, they kept changing it and so on. There were all these misspellings and stuff. But yeah, that's Hijab's dad. He's making fun of Elon's dad. Hijab's dad was a professional scam artist, and he calls it the Cambridge School of such and such. So people think they're buying degrees from Cambridge University and so on. But they have all these different topics and so on. But they actually went through. They actually went through the comments. And the comments are like, "This is a total scam. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I paid for this total scam." And then it's random fake accounts saying, "Well, this is very great." Fake accounts, and a bunch of them had the same last name and so on. Oh my goodness, it was terrible. It's ridiculous.
The funny thing is, I think it was my friend, Egyptian atheist, who initially brought this whole thing to the surface of Mohammed Hijab's family engaging in.
Makes sense because they're Egyptian.
Stuff. He contacted me one day. He was like, "Hey, I don't know if I'm crazy, but I just encountered this thing here, and it seems to be the same person," and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
guys, so you can go ahead and watch. This was our New Year's, our what was it? End of the year, whatever. Anyway, we had a 6-hour live stream at the on December 31st, leading up to the new year. I had on Jai and DOC first, and they went through their top 5 scandals, Dawa scandals of 2024, and that was one of them. But I mean, think about how perfect this is. Mohammed Hijab's dad, literally a professional con artist, a professional scam artist, selling fake degrees. That's what he was doing. And then Mohammed Hijab, he learns the skills of conning people and uses it for Dawa. To take advantage of of a bunch of stupid followers. Smart. Why does AP look like a grumpy Diddy? Does he need a chicken noodle soup?
yes.
AP, love the Irfan Pesci video. May God bless you too. This is the second person that brought up that.
Thank you. But it is getting. I saw earlier that it started out slow in views, but it's getting some traction. So
that's on his channel?
No, it's on my channel. I published it yesterday.
Oh yeah, people are watching it.
Yeah.
People are watching it. How come I didn't see it pop up? Let me look up a bus state. I will look up a bus state. Prove it. Nope. All I see is a live stream from a day ago. Oh, there we go. I was a jihadist. Now, oh yeah. I see. Huh.
It's a powerful
Interesting. People are paying attention to this guy, huh? He looks pretty cool.
He is cool.
Seems like a cool guy.
He is a cool guy.
You both guys are great. Just saying. Enough compliment. Yes, that's enough compliment.
Thank you.
Should we abandon Christ as king, or is it savable? If it was the only thing you could say, then you wouldn't want to abandon it. But you could say you could say Jesus Christ is Lord. Go with Jesus Christ as Lord. You had a bunch of idiot neo-Nazis and stuff take Christ as king and use it for their kind of signal. And then whenever you criticize them, they're going, "What? We're just being criticized for saying Christ is king." So again, if that were the only thing you could say, then you certainly want to say it. And it's a true statement, but you can say the exact same thing in words that would not be associated with a bunch of neo-Nazis.
Don't abandon a phrase because these dishonest people are misusing and abusing it. There would be giving in to them and having them win.
The thing is, it was never a really common thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it's not like they're taking the Lord's Prayer and distorting it or something like this. That the Christians, no, now we can't use that anymore. Yeah. It's they kind of took one way of saying things and said, we're going to make this our slogan. Okay, well, that's never been our main way of saying something. Mm-hmm. So, And here we have Ragnar saying, Allah is in the bloods. He has 2 right hands. He's in the bloods. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow the ongoing awesome epic debate as Mohammed Hijab tries to figure out how to stop the avalanche of apostasy, how to stop the absolute meltdown, how to keep people from shining a spotlight on the grooming gangs scandal, how to stop people from looking at Islam and investigating Islam and seeing the problems with Islam. Hijab tries to figure this out. And as Elon and others start drawing attention to the problems and amplifying the voices of people who are exposing some really, really messed up stuff, this is going to be a fun year. Any final thoughts before we click off, AP?
Not yet, no.
All right. We will see what happens later, ladies and gentlemen. But be sure to follow Elon. Be sure to, and not just Elon, because again, he's retweeting other people who are exposing things and so on. So it's a good channel to follow to see which channels are actually exposing this, and you can check those out. And you definitely want to help people, especially you do have a few of the victims themselves, who are calling things out. You want to help them as much as possible.
Yeah, I would say make sure to support Elon Musk. He's a college dropout. He might just need more support. Poor guy. Isn't getting anything done. Is getting bullied by Mohammed Hijab now.
Yeah,
so.
and may have been a victim of grooming when he was a kid, according to Mohammed Hijab, and so we just don't know. Could have been a victim of grooming, college dropout. His body's all pale and so on. He needs some sun. So
He looks like a Cybertruck. Yeah. So
yeah.
He's a poor electric car salesman. So make sure that you support him and follow him. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, I'm sure we still have a bunch of topics to cover, so I'm sure you'll be seeing more of us this coming week. Fun times.
Leave Elon Musk alone.
Fun times. 2025, going to be one of the best years ever. Going to be the worst year ever on record for Dawa. Watch it happen.
Dawa watch.
Dawa watch.